Okay, hope you guys can hear me. And get started shortly. Okay, I think the camera's okay. I think it's okay, it's not too blurry. Alright, so we'll give a couple updates, and then we will get started with the articles that you guys requested. First thing to note, the Death Note and Light video, where I'm going to say who is a smart character. I finished the initial rough draft article. If you want some, if you want some perspective on, I think a little blurry here. 1 second. Is that better? I think it's better. Okay. Anyways, if you want some perspective at like how in depth this is going to be, the initial rough draft is about 18 pages. So I have to go through 18 pages now and figure out what I'll keep for the article and then the actual video. So that's up with that. What else was I gonna say? For the Nunnally surviving the FLEIJA, I wrote the rough draft for it. I gotta just go through it and get the video going. So yeah, those are two updates with the videos and articles I'm working on. Other than that, yeah, that's all I've been kind of up to. The yeah, the Death Note Lelouch thing is gonna be pretty. It's gonna take a while, but it's gonna be good. All right, we're gonna go through two Code Geass articles today. Maybe a Death Note one too, if you guys want. That's up to you though. I know you guys don't like Death Note. I released that video discussing the different character arcs, and it got like no views. So I understand that people come here for Code Geass stuff, which is totally fine. I'm not angry. In fact, that video was a test to see how you guys would respond to it. So it's totally cool. No offense here, but there was a CBR article I actually just read like today on Death Note, and I was like, what? It was pretty stupid, and that says something because we've gone through a lot of CBR articles, and yeah, they're pretty dumb. Okay, enough of that. Let's get into today's topics, or first topic, which is Code Geass 10 storylines that were never resolved. Now, this article has a lot of points that I can't necessarily refute, if you will, because we don't know. However, unlike CBR, I can at least give you better perspective on the possible answers, as opposed to just saying there are no answers, which I think is the worst way to go about this. And this came out, by the way, in 2019, July 13th, which means this came out after the recap films, Rania of Darkness, Akito the Exiled, Lelouch of the Resurrection, basically all that stuff. So all that information was present, and they still asked some of these questions. That's probably one of the more disturbing, not disturbing, but unfortunate parts of this. And it's written by Amanda Hirsch, I think. Anywho, let's begin. When Code Geass ended after 2 seasons, fans were left wondering about some abandoned storylines and how Pizza Hut exists here. You know, I would say I go on Reddit quite frequently for Code Geass, and I don't see many people ask about Pizza Hut. If I do, it's usually a joke. Now, I will say they're joking here. They're not being serious. But still, I think there were actually some topics that they probably should have brought up that they don't bring up here. And we'll do that at the end, by the way. We'll go through our list of unresolved storylines. But anyways, continuing on here. Manga and anime are engrossing forms of entertainment, and especially engaging when you come across a truly fantastic show. Code Geass Lelouch Rebellion is one of those staggering stories that can make anyone appreciate the art of anime. The storytelling is so nuanced that even people new to watching anime can become addicted to the series. Unfortunately for fans, Code Geass left some unanswered questions behind. These are the storylines that have become abandoned once the series ended. Unfortunately for them. Okay. After 2 seasons, read on if you want to know these tantalizing storylines Code Geass left unresolved. It's amazing. I've said this like 100 times now, but like, it's amazing to me how many times CBR can they say nothing, like they'll write a whole paragraph and it literally didn't say anything. You could have just said anime is great, Code Geass is great, but some storylines weren't resolved. Let's go into them. There you go. I just summarized all this Google gobble into like one simple thing. All right, here we go. Number 10, the creation of Geass and codes. When Lelouch first encountered C2, The mystic ways of his newfound Geass powers are unknown even to him. As is usually the way with anime, answers to our burning questions are slowly given to us drip by agonizing drip. Second here. We learn alongside Lelouch how his Geass works. However, how beings that possess Geass or codes were brought about is never truly explained. We learn about C2 specifically, got her Geass, and eventually earned her code powers. We see her experiences through flashbacks, but how the initial cycle of code and Geass came about is never properly explained or resolved. Actually, resolved or explained. Okay, so one thing I guess I have to point out is that they said they're basing this off the first 2 seasons. Now, the problem with this, as I said at the beginning of this, you can't say that when there's a whole slew of stuff that came out prior. You can't put out storyline. You can't put a title like this, but not act like there was nothing else that came out prior. And there are things that do explain some of the stuff. It's not definitive. So I'm not saying like this is the answer. But what I am saying is that there actually are some information we learned. For example, in Akito the Exile, we learn about the collective consciousness. She talks about how humans shouldn't have gotten Geass. So I've speculated for a while now that Geass must have come from that point of view. It could have been from aliens or whatever the collective consciousness is. The annoying part about this point is that they're not entirely wrong, but I would mention personally that we don't know where it came from, but we do know that from Akito the Exile some ideas of what it could be, and you could bring up Renya of Darkness as well. There are explanations as to where this could have came from. The point is to say outright we have no idea is a little disingenuous, but I will definitely admit that they don't say for sure where it comes from. And the most article, I mean, there's no definitive, so they're not wrong. But if I was writing it, I would be more. I try to bring other stuff that at least can help us get to some kind of answer. So, do we know exactly where it came from? No, but the collective consciousness made some points clear. Anyways, number 9. This was the thumbnail, which was the eventual fate of Lelouch. The original anime ends somewhat happily with Lelouch's plans for a prosperous life for his sister Nunnally coming to fruition. Well, it wasn't just Nunnally, it was like the whole world. He destroyed the entire world to create a new. It wasn't just for Nunnally, right? I think you misunderstood the Zero Requiem. His victory comes at the cost of his own life. He orchestrates his own demise in a rather brilliant effort to make Nunnally the most popular ruler to take his place. You know, of all the things about the Zero Requiem that I can remember, I don't recall this ever being a discussion point. Making Nunnally the most popular ruler. I guess because he died, that would make her the most popular, but that's something that I don't recall that actually happening in either the anime or in Resurrection. I'm not really sure where they're getting that from. I mean, I guess because I think they're putting a couple of thoughts together, like a structure of arguments. Like if Nunnally takes over after Lelouch and she brings peace, therefore she's better than Charles because Charles brought war. I guess I'm not really sure. I'm not sure if that was really the case. I can see what they're saying, but I don't know if that was actually ever stated. The anime ends leaving the viewers confused as to whether or not Lelouch survived. The story strongly hints that he might have lived on, albeit as a different version of himself. If that makes little to no sense, it's because you haven't watched the anime thoroughly to its conclusion. It does make sense eventually. Here's the thing. This is what I was saying before. I know I'm going to repeat myself 1,000 times here, but we do know what happened to Lelouch at the end of R2. The date that this article was written is super important because by this point we've had an alternate universe where Lelouch comes back to life. We've had 2 recap films of the original anime, not the alternate universe recaps. I'm talking the 2 that did Black Rebellion and the Zero Requiem. In the Zero Requiem, there's an ending scene where C2 monologues, and she says that Lelouch died, basically. He died, to make the world. He died smiling, I believe was the actual quote. I'm not going to go through my my files to find the image. But the point is, we know that Lelouch died at the end. It has now been confirmed. If you are going to discuss, honestly, about unresolved plot points, you should go do some research because even without the newest alternate universe, you still have the recap films, which are canon and did say he died. In terms of the whole conclusion about, or the theory, he took Charles's code, I mean, it's fine if you want to hold that, but even the creator admitted he died. So at this point, like, this theory might have been, it might have had some validity in like '08, but it had no validity. It has no validity now. And when you're gonna make an article about today, you got to consider all everything we know, and they don't do that here. So no, he's dead. If people are confused or not, that's fine. Like, you can have theories. Headcanon is okay, but in this universe, no, he died. It's not a question anymore. So holding on the list so far, the first one we don't know. We know this one. He's got two outcomes. He lives in the alternate universe, and he dies in this one. And that's how it's going to be until they change it again. Okay, number 8. The progression of Lelouch's Geass. Funnily enough, even though the story revolves around Geass, explanations as to how individual Geass functions are sparse. Established rules regarding Geass appear to be randomly broken. I'm not sure what they mean by that. Of all the unresolved storylines in Code Geass, those centering on Geass are the most prolific. For example, Lelouch's Geass reached a state where he cannot control it. His ability to command people became uncontrollable as breathing to him. His ability to command people became as uncontrollable. Okay. Making imperative statements, suddenly taking on a full strength of his Geass. We understand that it happens, but the why is never fully resolved. Okay, well, this is kind of odd because when you say, this is the problem with CBR all the time. You know, they'll make a statement, they won't qualify any of it, so you don't know what the heck they're talking about. When you say why, are you saying you want a detailed functional description as to how Geass works? When you say why, are you saying within like the rules of how Geass are in general? Like, you have to kind of explain what you mean, because we know how Geass evolves. They made it very clear. C2 said in the beginning, like, if you use it too much, it'll eventually evolve to a level where you can't control it. That happened to Mao, and it happened to Lelouch. So I don't... And also Shin Hyuga, too, in Akito to Exile. But you have to explain, what do you mean by, like, why? Do they go through the whole detailed functionality of Geass and how it gets to this point? No, they don't. But I don't think it matters, because they've already established how things evolve. In simply. Like, it's... Yeah, again, you have to say, like, what do you mean? Because they did say how it evolves. And if you want to know why, well, because the story established it this way. That's how Geass worked for everybody. For the most part. So I don't know, like, since they don't qualify what they mean by why, I can't really state whether or not Code Geass actually answers this question. It's very vague and open-ended, which is fine, but, you know, this is a article discussing what they believe to be unresolved, and you have to say why. Stating that it reached a state he can't control it, but we don't know why that happened. Well, we do know why, because that's how other characters in Code Geass have gone through the same thing. So to say, like, we don't know why is, yeah, you gotta state why that is. I know I just used why in the same breath, but I think you guys get the idea here. Okay, number 7. How V2 got his Geass contract. The big villain of Code Geass ends up being V2, Lucius' uncle. The big villain? Oh my god, are we really on this again? Was V2 the big villain? I mean, no, it was Charles and Schneisel. V2 was important, but was he the big villain? No, I don't think so. He worked behind the scenes, but it was Charles, the one that Lelouch had a hard time fighting against, and Schneisel definitely was not V2. Anyways, for the first season, we were under the impression that Lelouch's father was the main antagonist. Instead, V2 ends up being the real bad guy. Charles was still the antagonist. He was going to, create a collective consciousness for the whole world by uniting the dead and the living. He was the one doing that. That was still his plan. V2 wasn't even... I mean, here's how you know Charles was a bigger villain. because he took V2's code and left him to die. And because he knew V2 killed his wife, well, he killed her physically. The mind was saved because of her Geass power. But because he knew what he did, the plan was to betray him at some point. So no matter how you look at it, Charles had this all planned out to betray V2. V2 was made to look like a fool at the end of the show. So this is just not accurate. But anyhow, as an immortal, V2 took like a very young child, unnaturally long hair. Despite his appearance, he's an intelligent mastermind. Unfortunately, he uses his intelligence to hurt people. An unresolved storyline of the series, an explanation to how V2 got his power. Seriously, who in their right mind would give this little snot a Geass contract? Well, you started off somewhat cogent, and then you went off on a kind of silly note. What? Yeah, I'm. All right. Well, let's try to just first answer the question: where did he get his contract from? We don't know for sure, right? Because it's not directly stated. But at the end of Reign of Darkness, Shiori gets a contract or the code from Dash, which came from U2, and they say that she's going to be V2. That's what they said at the end of that manga. I don't know if that means she transferred her code to V2. I'm not sure if it was the same code, but I'm going to assume that U2's code became V2's at some point. I think that's what they were trying to say at the end of Reign of Darkness. So at least we know on some level, 3 or 4 generations before this, where it came from. In terms of who gave him the contract initially, we don't know. C2 never brings it up. It's a good question. I would mention, though, the Reign of Darkness. In terms of their, side note here, who gave the right mind Little Sonata Geass contract? I mean, Mao got a contract, so I don't think they understand that contracts don't really matter. They don't go through some evaluation before they're given one. Except for Reign of Darkness, which they say you must be qualified to get it. They never really say what that means. That actually was kind of stupid. But since the original series doesn't bring up the whole qualified ones, I can safely say that V2, just for existing, could get a contract. So I don't know what they're talking about there. But again, you got to bring up Reign of Darkness because that's where we first learn about V2's name. So we don't know for sure, but there are some hints. They don't bring that up here, though. Of course not. Okay, this one is very interesting. Number 6. Nunnally's ability to learn Lelouch's thoughts. It's nice and all that Nunnally learned about the sacrifices her brother made for her happiness. It makes the ending bittersweet. Sure, Lelouch got himself killed. Don't you mean sacrifice himself? Whatever. But at least he did so that she could be happy. Nunnally finds out about Lelouch's intentions at the very end, right before he passes away. Strange wordage. She touches him, and it's like she's granted a momentary telepathy. She sees his experiences and understands his motivations in an instant. So yeah, that's sweet and all, but no explanation ever given for this happening. And since the show ended a few minutes, fans never got a resolution for it. Okay, so how did this work? There's only theories. One theory kind of relates to how did Nunnally even break the code the Geass to begin with. Some say it's under C2's influence because C2 had the ability to undo Geass powers. So if she was with her the whole time, it might have rubbed off on her. In terms of the whole psychic ability, I'm not really sure. It's never released exactly how that happened. They don't mention, by the way, she touched Suzaku's hand and knew it was Suzaku, and that's also a question that people wonder exactly how did she know. I have read one theory that she actually didn't see any of that, and that was more of what Lelouch was seeing. I'm not sure if that's true or not. I've heard both sides on this, if she actually saw anything. Truth be told, I don't know how she would know. Someone had to share memories. The only person who can share memories is C2, so that's why the only theory I have is that somehow her abilities rubbed off on Nunnally being able to stop Geass and maybe even share memories. That's the only thing I got. I believe that's the common theory as to how she was able to see Lelouch's memories and also break the Geass, which wasn't mentioned here, but I still think that's worth noting because I think they're one and the same. So that's kind of what that's about. I will admit they don't really explain that a whole lot. There might be some hints in the show to kind of get it there, to kind of get us there. There we go. 3 times the charm. Okay. But other than that, I mean, yeah, we don't know. It's a fair question. All right, this is a good one. I don't know the answer to this one, and I don't think you guys do either. So be ready for this one. Number 5, the reason behind Nina's Euphemia obsession. At first, on Nina, in the first season of Code Geass, she was this shy, quiet girl who suddenly developed an obsessive crush on Princess Euphemia. And when we say obsessive, we mean obsessive. Everyone remembers that infamous table scene, right? Of course we do. No one ever stops talking about it. You literally go on any forums about Code Geass, and every time they bring up like bad characters with Nina specifically, they always mention the table. They don't mention anyone else though. That's just how it goes, I guess. And while we can understand Nina's hero worship of the noble Euphemia, the extent to which she took it is incredibly insane. The storyline regarding Nina's obsession feels incomplete. By the end of the series, she crushed on Euphemia for a short time, was devastated by her death, and then spent the rest of her life dealing with the consequences of her emotions. There's so much wrong with this. I don't know if it's even worth addressing because I've already discussed Nina like I feel like so many times at this point. But all right, let's go over a couple things. Number 1, why does it matter how long it took for her to become obsessive over Euphemia? That's kind of how it goes. You meet someone and then you like them, and then it could be over a period of day, months, or a couple minutes. That happens all the time in real life. Obsessive, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. We have people worshiping celebrities in weird ways. I mean, didn't people kill themselves when Marilyn Monroe died, right? It's a phenomenon we see in real life. It's not like it'd be that. It's irrational, and so the answer to this is that it was irrational. She was one-sided. She thought that, I'm clearly, what's it called? I'm love Yuffie. She doesn't love me, but I don't care. I'm totally in love with her. So I don't know, like, this is one of those things where this is an irrational behavior, and you want an explanation to irrational behavior, and the only explanation I can give you is that in real life this happens. This is based on a real phenomenon where people just get obsessed with celebrities or high status, whatever, and they fun to be as perfect individuals. And yes, Yuffie saved her life. They also had that conversation at her mansion. It was her mansion about stuff. So I don't know what you're looking for. And again, like the other points they mentioned here, you don't explain like what would satisfy your curiosity. And the other thing too, they say she spent the rest of her life dealing with the consequences of her emotions. I'd say actions too. I think they're referring to the FLEIJA, which is a whole nother subtopic here. But I just don't understand the this is something where there doesn't need to be an explanation. This is just human nature. And Nina does say she had she had confidence issues, so she kind of lived for the royal empire, the royal family. I don't know. This is one of those ones where I just don't get it. It's funny. It says strongest vampires in anime. Is that really how they associate Nina with? That's okay. You would think it'd be like top things no one understands about Nina Einstein or top facts of Nina Einstein, but they throw vampires in here, which is not even relevant to Code Geass. It's kind of funny. All right, next one. Number 4. Pizza Hut's existence in the Code Geass universe. Perhaps the most devious and puzzling of unresolved storylines in Code Geass is why Pizza Hut exists in this alternative timeline. Pizza Hut is a chain of restaurants that exists in an actual world. It was created in the United States in the late 1950s and later expanded to other parts of the world. However, when Lelouch orders a pizza for C2, or when C2 orders one for herself, there's a big fat Pizza Hut logo on the box. How could that exist if the Holy Britannic Empire conquered most of the unknown world? This is clearly a storyline that deserves to be resolved. I'm just going to assume this is a troll job, and they're not taking this seriously because it's a product placement. You could easily come up with some contrived reason why Pizza Hut would exist in this universe. I don't think this is meant to be taken seriously. If it is, I don't know. I know people ask all the time on Reddit, like, oh, why is there Pizza Hut in Code Geass? I don't know. I guess it's a product placement. I really think they're looking more into this. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure like why this would even there actually are some nice, not nice, but there's some unresolved things. They don't really mention them here, so it's, I don't know. This is kind of strange. We're gonna a couple comments before we continue. From Code Geass Anime Fan. Hi, I hope you're having a good day. As my name would imply, Code Geass is my favorite anime. Well, that makes sense. You said Code Geass Anime Fan. I know you want to make content to make people happy, but I'm curious to see your take on anime, especially since your Death Note video was really interesting. Yeah, at some point. We can do the Mello video if we have time. At this point, now you are commenting, which means you will have time to go through it. I'm actually okay with not knowing about Geass. We don't need to know about everything. We don't need to know everything about everything. Not knowing where the magic that affects the world came from doesn't harm the series. Absolutely agree, because there's been so many times where we watched any film franchise where they actually explain how things came to be, and let's be honest, it was not good. Mysteries can be unresolved. It's totally fine. I'll give you a good example. There's a movie called Batman Massive Phantasm, and they never explain how. Well, I guess if you guys haven't seen the movie, but there's a character called the Phantasm. Fancy that. And the character has the ability. It's Andrea Beaumont. If you haven't seen the movie, I mean, like, whatever, I spoiled it for you. But anyhow, there's a character named Andrea Beaumont, and she has the ability to use smoke to travel around. It's kind of mystical. They never explain how she can do this, how she can, like, become smoke and absorb bullets or teleport. They never explain any of it. And I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. It's not relevant. If you explain how it works, you're making it worse. There was a recent movie called Old. I'm not sure you guys heard of it. It came out like a couple weeks ago, and it's one of M. Night Shyamalan's movies. And the movie is about people get old on an island. And they explain like why they're getting old, and the explanation actually ruins the film, because there was a lot of intrigue and unknown suspense about it. But now that he revealed how it actually happens, people are like, well, it kind of ruined the story. So the way I see it is, if you don't have a good explanation, you don't have to explain it. And like I said with the Geass, I guess about the progression, if the story establishes the conceptually how it works, that's good enough. I mean, you don't have to go too crazy with it. Eventually, there comes a point where nothing has an explanation, and you're kind of like, it's a never-ending goalpost. Bad Code Geass review. Yeah, that's all their stuff in a nutshell. Okay, number 3, Disappearance of Geass. The rules of Geass are never thoroughly explained. Again, you haven't really defined what would satisfy that. C2 sure knows how to keep a secret. Fans of the series have to glean what little information they can from outside sources, or from watching the show repeatedly looking for indirect hints. One of the aspects of Code Geass' story that appears to be missing is the explanation for how a Geass disappears once a person becomes a code bearer. When a code bearer gives a Geass to someone else for the first time, their own Geass just disappears. No, you got that wrong. When a code bearer gives a Geass to someone else for the first time, their own Geass just disappears. No, it doesn't matter if they give a Geass or not. If they get a code, the Geass disappears. In terms of like, here's what I'm confused. It's saying like we don't know how this works. I mean, again, what are you looking for? They said many times, well, not many times, but it's been explained that if a person evolves their Geass to the next level, they can take the code from the person who grants them that power. As C2 said, like the person has the ability to take the code from the one who gave it to them originally, right? So we know that's the case, and that's just like that's how it works. I don't know what you're looking for exactly. That's they said it like that's just the rules. That's how. It's just the law. I don't know. Like, do you want some detailed explanation of like, well, when Geass gets to a certain point, the powers are no longer controllable, and a code bearer like can't have a Geass ability because of I don't know, some reason. Then you're talking about failed ones. They don't even know what that is because they didn't read Reign of Darkness or watch Lucid Resurrection. So this is so bizarre because, you know, again, I'm actually looking at people's comments on different blogs, different forums on certain social media sites, and no one really asks these questions because pretty sure that we know what the answer is. They gave it to us. Again, if you don't specify what you mean by thoroughly explained, then I don't know. Does C2 keep secrets? Sure, but not how Geass works. She kept secrets like the Order, about V2. Those were secrets she kept. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure she told Lelouch everything she knew. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure she did. Number 2, Nunnally's survival of the FLEIJA blast. FLEIJA stands for Field Luminary Effective Implosion Armament. Nina Einstein created this device that essentially functions as a large bomb. In the second season, we are led to believe that Nunnally was killed in a FLEIJA explosion. The story very strongly wants you to believe this. However, as later episodes show us, Nunnally survived the explosion. To this day, we still have no clue how exactly she got out of the blast range in time. I do know how. I'm not going to go over it here because I literally have a video that'll be coming out, I hope, this week on it. It just depends on how much time I have to work on it. But I will say this much. They gave I would say, they give a good setup for what happened. I will admit, though, that there's a couple parts where it's not clearly stated. So I would say like this. We know how. I just wish there was more information. That's how I would put it. This is not an unresolved storyline. They actually do explain this. So, number 1, mystery of C2's real name. One of the things Code Geass left unanswered, the absolute worst, was the mystery of C2's actual name. It comes as no surprise that she wasn't originally called C2. That'd be a weird name. Well, they said, never mind. However, we as viewers never get to find out what her real name is. Lelouch overhears it when she murmurs it in her sleep, but the rest of us are left to wonder in agonizing curiosity. And unless they release a 3rd season of Code Geass, the world will never know. Well, I'm pretty sure that a 3rd or 4th season wouldn't determine anything, so that's not really a factor here. Now the question is, what is her real name? Some people say it's Snow White because Lelouch says like Snow White. Yeah, I'm not sure whether Snow is white, but I'm pretty sure it's beautiful. He told her that in the cave, so people assume her name is Snow White. That's one theory. The name C2 itself has no relevance to her real name. We know that because, well, I'll say Lelouch is L2, but other characters who get the name, it doesn't relate to the actual. Because we were wondering, well, does C2 stand for like, are the C's relevant? And as far as we know, they're not. So in terms of what her name is, again, we don't know. A 3rd season wouldn't reveal anything. And personally, it shouldn't. It's kind of like Doctor Who. Oh my god, now I'm about to go into a tangent here. But in Doctor Who, there was entire controversy about what the Doctor's name was. Because everyone wants to know, what's the Doctor's name? Right? What's the name? And he always says, I'm John Smith, right? An alias, John Smith. But then there was one episode called The Doctor's Name, and they actually were going to reveal it. And I'm thankful every day they never did. It's one of those mysteries where we don't need to know what it is. It's part of the fun. Now, obviously, Doctor Who is a more epic story than Code Geass. It's been around for much longer. But the point is still valid in that if the character doesn't have a name, it doesn't really matter. If you read Monster, what's in a name anyways? And plus, she's Death Note proof, so even better. Now, these are the list of their unresolved storylines, and I will say that the vast majority of them are pretty reasonable. But again, like I've said about most CBR articles, when they don't have to state an opinion, that if they don't have to state an opinion about something, they're usually accurate because they go on Wikipedia and search up this stuff. But when they actually have to give an actual opinion, it's usually the worst takes you've ever read in your life. So yes, these are all unresolved stuff. I mean, hard to disagree with them. But let's go through a couple more unresolved ones, okay? First of all, does Todo and Nagisa Chiba get married? This is a very important question, and I've thought about it many times. As far as I know, they don't get married, but the question is, why not? And when's she going to propose to him? That's literally one of the most important unresolved storylines in all of Code Geass. When are they going to get married? I mean, Todo is like 37 and she's 29. I mean, how long is she going to wait till he's like 50? I mean, the clock is ticking. She wants to have a family. I assume she does. I mean, I got the impression when she talked to Asahina about like, no, he told her you have long plans. I assume it wasn't just to marry Todo. I assume she wants to have a family. Even the Resurrection film implies that because there's a little end credit scene where it shows Nagisa. No, Toto's playing with the baby, and Nagisa is smiling as if I want this, and Toto's like, yeah, whatever, not gonna happen. There's that. Other unresolved storylines I would say is so I know that the mother gets Colin's mother, I should be more accurate. She gets resolved of her crimes, but why are they in the an apartment exactly? What happened there? Did they move out of the her mother-in-law's house and they decide to go and live in the apartment? They don't really explain what happened there. I assume that's what they did after she was exonerated of her crimes, but I would have liked to have seen that. That was something they never really explained, how they went from, that big mansion to his apartment. It just sort of happened, and Colin decides to go into, to go back to school, which makes sense. That seemed to be her role to in the future. But I just like to know like what happened there. That would have been a nice thing to resolve. Until the picture drama, we never knew exactly of how did everyone get the Geass removed, and actually Jeremiah did that, so that was not a resolved storyline that they did actually resolve at some point. Other ones that I think we could have seen more of. I would have liked to have seen how Ogi became prime minister. I know he did, but I would have liked to have seen exactly the process in which it took him to get there. They don't really explain what Kaguya does after this. Not that it matters. I'm trying to think. They don't really explain where C2 is going after this point. I'm not saying that matters either, but she said she wanted to like start living for real, so it would have been kind of nice to see where she goes after that point. Now that she's like, I want to live again. I'm like, okay, great. So what's the plan now? Are you gonna give out more Geass contracts? Are you done with Geass contracts? Are you gonna try to find a way to get rid of your code? Do you not want to get rid of your code? What's the plan? I know that of the obviously the alternate universe, she decides to go resurrect Lelouch. It's a whole like scheme to get him back to life. But I'm saying in the first two seasons, what is C2's next move? Maybe it doesn't even matter. Oh, here's another one. This is actually a good one. Does Colin ever get over Lelouch? I know that seems like a really random question, but it's important because she writes a letter how she realized that he told her to live. He didn't want her with him because if she was, then she would have sacrificed herself, and Lelouch would be totally okay with that. And he was not okay with that, but he knew she would do that, and he didn't want to be with her anymore for her own protection. But does Colin ever move on? Because she still has a photo like in her apartment. I think it's an apartment. Again, they don't state what it is, and she's looking at Lelouch's face the whole time. So I'm thinking, does that ever get resolved? And that'd be kind of nice to know. It's just that she move on in life, because some people, and I'm not saying I'm one of them, but some people ship her with different people outside of Lelouch, right? There's the Genos group, and I've seen even in Suzaku, which is kind of weird, but is what it is. So if could she even be with those other people in the future? And they don't really that's something that they don't explain that, and that's something I'd like to know, because even though Code Geass is not a romance anime, right? It's a minor theme. It would be nice to know exactly what her fate is in the future in terms of her relationships, because she was very attached to Lelouch, and I'd like to know what she does after he's no longer in the picture. Maybe never forget, but move on in life. Well, she kind of did. It's not very clear. So those are all the ones I can think of top of my head about storylines I would like to see resolved. Actually, hold on, one more thing. Wouldn't it be interesting if they showed exactly how the world changed when Lelouch died? So we're told what happened, but I would like to have seen how it happened. It's not really an unresolved storyline, so to speak, but it would be nice to know what exactly happened between the events of R2 and really just in general. I would like to have seen that. I know that Schneizo works under Zero and therefore Nunnally, but I would like to see if they actually did a trial for him or any of them for what happened, and he was either off or he served a certain punishment or something. They don't really that's kind of unresolved. They always talk about how, Nina should have been punished to death, but they never talk about Schneizel's punishment. I would like to see maybe they resolve that in some way, because he was a megalomaniac, and, well, among other things. And he was going to nuke the world into submission, and they never really, discussed it, or it gets no resolution. I would have liked to have seen something to discuss what happens to him in terms of a trial or a punishment, or really anybody, honestly, in the Britannia, who's still left, obviously, because Lelouch took care of all of it. But anyone who's still around, I'm wondering if there was a trial for those people, because Britannia was pretty evil, and they committed a lot of atrocities, especially in Japan, but really all around the world. And was there any penalties for any of that? I don't think they, I don't think they resolved that. And, oh, another one, too. Who becomes in charge of the Chinese Federation at the end of all this? Do they say who becomes in charge? I know it's like a whole UFN thing, but like, is there a specific leader of the Chinese Federation? I know, again, it's the UFN, but who like represents the Chinese Federation? Is that still Tianzi? Maybe they stated that. I just don't remember. Anywho, so yeah, those are all the unresolved storylines. This one, I'm saving for a video because there's a lot to talk about. The rest of them, I mean, I don't know. Let's see. A couple more comments here. I'm pretty sure Pizza Hut sponsored the anime. Yep, that makes sense. Doctor Who back in the day was so good. Yes, it is. Nowadays, not so much. Doctor Who nowadays is pretty crap. It's been that way for a long time. I could rant about that forever. I'm not going to here. Okay, so we're done with the unresolved one. Let's start if you have any questions about this article. Again, it's pretty clear cut because we don't know. All right, we're gonna go through another one, which is 5 things movie trilogy did great and 5 things the original anime did better. Now, the reason why we're going through this one is because I did it before, but it was crappy quality. So we're gonna go through it again this time and actually, yeah, do it justice. Even though the article is pretty bad, but is what it is. Okay, the Code Geass movie trilogy definitely has its fans, and while we love certain aspects of it, we also think the anime got a lot of things right. Don't you think it did things better? I don't know. Anime compilations are a staple of the industry. They give people an opportunity to experience the stories of an anime without having to necessarily watch the whole series. That might have episodes numbering into dozens of or hundreds. Code Geass Lelouch Rebellion is one such anime. Yeah, I guess so, because there's 25 episodes, 50 total. That's fair. Which was adapted into a trilogy of compilation films: Initiation, Transgression, and Glorification. Fans have mixed feelings about these films and the choices that they have made about how they dealt with the plot of the beloved anime. Here are 5 things the trilogy movie handled things well, and 5 things we prefer in the original anime. Okay. Number 10. Movie trilogy streamlined the plot. The big thing about the compilation movies is that they take the bigger parts, or the biggest parts, rather, of the anime, and they just focus on that. This streamlines the plot and gets us to the important things much more quickly. You could just say faster, 1 word instead of 3. It also cuts out superfluous characters who might not be necessarily to the immediate story being told. Anime takes a long time to watch, as opposed to what? Anything else? If you're interested solely in the plot without wanting to spend too much time on the subplots or B characters, then this is a good option for getting that experience. Okay, there's a problem with this point, and that is it said 5 things the movie did great and 5 things the original anime did better. Now, when I read a title like that, I interpret that to mean that whatever the trilogy did, it did it better than the original anime. Or if it didn't, the original anime did better. So we're comparing between the two, correct? And because we're doing that, this note, streamline the plot, doesn't make any sense because, of course, the recap films are going to do a better job streamlining the plot. They're recap films. That's kind of their job. If the films didn't streamline the plot and they put all the extra stuff in there, they wouldn't be a recap film. The point of these films, as I said at the beginning, was to summarize the whole story. So, of course, it's going to streamline the plot better than Lelouch Rebellion. You can't have fillers in a film like that. Well, I mean, you can, but you generally don't. So, this point doesn't really work here because streamline the plot, you wouldn't do that normally in an anime because you have more episodes to work with. So, this doesn't make any sense to me. This is a clear, I'm not saying like the idea of it's wrong, but it's like an obvious statement. Yeah, of course. a film that summarizes the story is going better than the actual story in terms of keeping the plot focused. It's by the very nature of what they are. It's okay. I mean, you're right, but like, yeah, no duh. Original anime pacing. On the other hand, a full-length anime series down to 3 movies can really affect the storytelling. Code Geass is a series with 25 episodes per season, which they don't say it here, but it is, which isn't a lot in the scheme of some anime, which can go on for hundreds of episodes. Still, the story was written to be told in episodic chunks, and the pacing of the story depends on the episodic nature. The anime gets the actual pacing and rhythm of the storytelling down, and much more naturally, since the story was written to be told in that manner. Again, duh. Right? I mean, if you have more time to tell a story, you can pace it better. When you have to summarize and streamline the plot, it won't be paced better. These statements, I feel, are obvious given what you're talking about. They're not fair comparisons because you're comparing two different things. Comparing a film series that summarizes the entire show to the original anime, which doesn't have to do that, in this context doesn't make any sense to me, because the original anime, of course, can have better pacing because they can take their time with it. Although that's not even true, because R2 was all over the place. But that's a whole nother discussion. The point here, though, is that the way I see it is these are not false statements, but they also don't matter because these are not fair comparisons. The only comparison you can make between the between the films and the original anime is the changes they made between them. Those are fair comparisons, because now you're saying, hey, in this story, we did it this way. In the films, we did it that way. Discussing the actual way you produce either one is not relevant here, because it's like the very nature of it. I don't think when people discuss the films, they discuss it in this manner. Now, people have said that the films are horribly paced, which is true, because they're trying to condense a bunch of stuff, which is totally fair, but that's more of a knack against the film. People don't compare it to the original anime, saying like the original anime was paced better, therefore. I don't think people make that argument, and I don't think you can make that argument. You can only say the films were not paced well. It's a weird comparison, because again, you're talking about like two different things here. Anyways, number 7, movie trilogy, alternative ending. Glorification had a bit of a controversial ending, in that it's different from the original ending. Okay. Though many fans felt the changing ending was a mistake, there is something to be said for the new ending. The ending being a little more ambiguous gave us something to think about and allows us to dwell on the story that much longer. On top of that, it creates an entirely new world for the film, allowing us to think about different ways this adventure could go. This was the most, I think, of all the things I've ever read about CBR, well, I don't know all of them, but they literally said nothing. They said there was an ending, there was a different ending. And because there was a different ending, it was a mistake because it wasn't like the original ending. Look, just say what it was. What's with the vague ambiguity here? You want to talk about leaving things open? This statement, like this paragraph, is what? Let me translate this. What they're saying is that in glorification, C2 is shown on a donkey, and they clearly imply Lucius is going to get resurrected because Jeremiah tells her to go to, I think it's Australia, to their orange garden, and they're going to resurrect Lelouch or something. And the end of the film, it shows you next stage, resurrection. That's the ending of glorification. Ending of R2 is that it shows C2 on a carriage, and the horse is, traveling, and she says, like, I said that the Geass would the power of the king would isolate you, but that's not quite right, is it? Lelouch. That's how it ends. So that's the two different endings. Now, in terms of like open-ended stuff, yes, the original anime's ending was open-ended. However, as I said earlier, in context to this article, it was revealed that Lelouch in fact died in a recap film that came out a couple years after R2. So while people have theories on it, it was actually stated pretty early on that he died. Now, is it saying that okay, so the alternative ending is better than the original. Why? Because it's a little more ambiguous. It gets us something to think about. It allows us to dwell on the story that much longer. On top of that, it creates a entirely new world for the film. These aren't better statements. This last one here, that's just a all that means is that it gave us like a way to continue the story. That's a plot device. How's that better? You have to argue that saying Lelouch is going to live is better than him dying. That's basically what we're getting at with this ending. Because that's the difference. In the original, Lelouch is confirmed to be dead. In this new one, he's not. So are you saying the new one is better because there's more open stories? Well, you can say the same with him, Lelouch being dead. There could be new stories. So you have to define why this new ending is better than the old one. And they're not really doing that there. They're being vague, ambiguous. The ending being a little more ambiguous. Are they talking about? And the other thing too, they're not saying which ending they're talking about here. Though many fans felt the change ending was a mistake, there is something to be said for the new ending. The ending being a little more ambiguous. The original was more ambiguous, not the new one. This is so weird because the original ending was ambiguous. The new one is not. It clearly states Lelouch is going to come back to life and he will be brought back. Like, he's not dead. What are you talking about? This is... The original one was ambiguous, not the new one. Okay. I'm confused. And by the way, you're about to get your mind blown, because look what their next one is. Original anime. Original ending. Try to wrap your hand around this one, okay? Before you're reading their points, they're saying the original anime did better with their original ending. What? That doesn't make any sense. They're saying that, like, the original anime was better than the films because its original ending was better. What? So you're saying that the films and the original anime had two separate endings. The original anime did better than the films because of its original ending. The films somehow were worse because their ending wasn't... It's... That specific thing is exclusive to the show. Like... Okay. But if you go further, it says here... Or back, I should say. It says alternative ending. This article states, in the very beginning, 5 things the movie trilogy did great, and 5 things the original anime did better. So they're saying that the alternative ending was great, but this was better. I think that's what they're saying. It's still really weird because in their own statement they were talking about the original. I think that's what they're saying. The original one was good, but this was better. Does that follow the whole logic here? The streamline plot was good, the pacing was better here. The original ending was good here, but it was better here. Okay. It's still like... Okay. Why don't you just say... Whatever, we'll keep going through this. But we can't ignore the fact that the anime was written to have a specific ending. Yeah? So is everything. That's the story. Everything that happens in the series up to this point does so we can reach the final point. These two statements have nothing to do with Code Geass. Everything that Lelouch does is to make sure the exact ending happens when we get up to it. Wow. Okay. This allows the capitalization on the themes that the series is playing with. Issues of class and war and our place and our complicity in it. This ending was chosen for the series for a reason, and it seems like an important part to keep. Okay. What the heck is with the vagueness here? This says nothing, and this says nothing. I could literally say, if you guys have watched Death Note, I can literally say the following, okay? The ending of Death Note was bad because Light was trying to achieve a certain goal. He didn't achieve it, and therefore it was bad because there was a reason for it being good, and it was bad because Light didn't get there. So therefore, bad ending. I don't give you any specifics. I don't go into any details. I'm just saying, hey, look. Light obviously, I mean, stories have endings, right? Everything builds up to a certain conclusion. Light was building up to a certain conclusion, but the ending didn't it didn't live up to it, or it had to because of some reason, and therefore it's good. Like, Do these people not understand that the ending of Code Geass had, like, yes, sure, there were issues of class and war and all that stuff, but you're forgetting like two words, zero requiem. How do you not like discuss that here? It's like that's the whole like. I think what they're trying to say, the original ending was like based on the zero requiem. Of course, so was this film, right? So I don't know what the difference there is, but they're saying like somehow the ending was chosen for the series for a reason. Yeah, but like the war issue class is not. That's not what we're really talking about here, because just going further, right? The endings of the two films are, geez, now they're messing my brain up. The films and the anime had the same basic ending structure, right? What changes is the last scene. Instead of C2 saying, I'm satisfied with Lelouch, you know, I want to live my life, and Lelouch, he did great, but I'm ready to move on, to, I'm not satisfied, I want Lelouch to fulfill his promise. That's the difference. So when they're saying the original ending was better than the alternative ending, again, you have to talk about that last point. This thing here is about the zero requiem, but they both had the zero requiem. They're not even discussing the right topic here. This is all about Lelouch being alive or not being alive. That's the debate between the endings. That was the controversy. They don't even state that here. Of course not. So if you're going to say the original ending was better, then talk about the original ending. This was vague as vague can get. Nothing was stated here. Complete utter nonsense. Man. And people are paid to write this, by the way. I don't mean to be a dick to people, to the person who wrote this story, whoever the heck it was. Liz Adler, but like, you know, people are paid to write this. Unbelievable. All right, let's move on. Unfortunately, movie trilogy, the animation was pretty good. Now, before you're reading this note, so you would think that maybe following their logic, they would. Okay, this is really weird. I'm gonna read the title one more time because I'm still confused. 5 things the movie trilogy did great, and 5 things the original anime did better. So are they comparing the two in terms of like each element, like animation, characters, or are these just random spitfire? Maybe it's just random. Okay. Because this indicates me they're doing ending per ending. If they're not, then that's fine. We won't do ending per ending. It's cool. All right. Anyways, movie trilogy animation. The movies were made about a decade after the anime series was playing on TV. That means that the technology to make animation has changed a lot since the original animated series. Not the series, but series. The movie added or adjusted scenes to the film. Adjusted or added scenes to the film to make sure that the story made sense with the other scenes cut out. Yet they also made sure the animation matched that was initially done in the series. So there's no jarring experience of incredibly modern tech animation. It's something that maybe hasn't aged well by comparison. I can't argue too much with this because the animation in the new film was pretty good. It's one of the reasons why people always say, should I watch the recap films? And I'm always saying, like, you don't have to, but you should if you want to experience the new scenes, and they're really nice. And they do touch up a lot of stuff. My favorite example is in Turn 18. That's the one where Battle Tokyo 2, and you see Colin and the Gurren Satan elements. The new version in the film, but they did a good job touching it up. So I wouldn't even say the movie trilogy did great. I think it did better. Because what's weird about this comparison, it's saying that the movie trilogy did great. Maybe just better, I don't know. Because the animation is definitely better. But then again, that's just because it came out later, obviously. It's not really a fair comparison because it's more modern, right? It's like saying, you know, between Akira and, I don't know, Weathering with You. I know those are two random movies, but the point is, like, if you were to compare the films and you said Weathering with You has better animation than Akira, I would say, yeah, of course it does. It came out in 2019. Akira came out in the 80s. I should hope it has better animation. I mean, I guess it's not a wrong comparison. It's just like a no duh. Like, yeah, obviously, of course, it's gonna have better animation. But we haven't really gotten to the crux of what separates the film. They mentioned here a little about the new scenes, but I would have gone further with that, or just the changes in general. And again, they mentioned here a little bit, but they're more focused on the animation. They do that so many times in articles. I can't stay freaking focused here. Original anime, the character development. Part of creating a compilation movie means dedicating what elements of the series were superfluous and removing them in order to cut down on time. So they already mentioned this before with the streamlining the plot, which is right here. Okay, that's true though. And the characters who are essential to the story don't have as much room for character development in the movie. The anime, on the other hand, is built for all characters to have enough time for their own story arcs and character development, letting us to get to know about and care about them. Oh, letting us get to know and care about them. Again, like the previous, not entirely wrong, but I mean, yeah, obviously, you get more time for your characters. Like these are literally no does. Let's just finally, we get an actual statement that you can actually discuss. Movie trilogy. Okay, well, actually that's not true because here the endings, that was a fair comparison, but they did a horrible job. Anyways, number 4, movie trilogy tweaks stories. This goes along with the alternative ending of the movie. A lot of fans of the original anime thought the movie should have kept more close to the original. Ugh, God, guys, when you're running your sentences, this is a run on, like run on with a capital R. I'm gonna read this in the way I think it should be written. I just did it. Fans would have liked the story to the movies to stay the same as the original anime. That's all it should have said. We think the fact that the movie deviated slightly is a good thing. By not adhering totally to what the original anime was attempting to do, the movie created an alternative reality to the original world, giving us a taste of what might have happened in the story if slightly different things had occurred. Is it fun? What if with a capital W and a lower style of storytelling that we admire and only works as an adaptation of the original series? The movie trilogy tweaks storylines. So here's the thing, right? This is a really good point, but here's the problem. They're not discussing it in a way that would be more comparable because they're saying like, oh, it's good to have different storylines, right? If you you do different, you change stuff up a little bit, it's good. What they could have said, and I would argue, there are certain parts in the original anime that don't have a proper explanation. The films kind of fix some of those issues by answering those questions. There were certain plot holes, and they tried solving them in the films. You could have just said that, and I would have said, thumbs up, I agree. But all you've stated is the obvious. Yes, if you make an alter, like oh my god, they changed, they went off the original anime to tell their own story to create an alternative timeline. They're making it seem like this was an accident. No, it was on purpose. They did this on purpose to make an alternative timeline. They actually have recap films that came out between 08 and 09. And those films, they just recapped the original anime, and that's all it was. Okay? So the fact that they're implying like it made an alternative reality, therefore it was great. It's like, yeah, no duh. Like as Neil deGrasse Tyson said, well, what point are you trying to make here? It did its job well, or it did its job at all? Again, talk about what those changes were and if they were good or not. That's what you have to do when comparing and contrasting the stories. Don't just say they made changes and therefore are good, or change is good in general. That's not what people discuss when it comes to the films at all. So, yay. Number 3, original anime character designs. Well, this is stupid. They use the same ones. This is what? Okay. Technically speaking, the movie trilogy has the same character design as the original anime. So then why is this on here? We want to give credit where credit is due. Code Geass' characters are designed by Clamp. I don't care. A manga studio known for their all-out wild designs who have a very recognizable, distinguished look. Again, I don't care. Yeah, big eyes, super long, thin profiles, and outrageous costumes. The anime is not a Clamp production, but the choices to have them design the characters is a really fun one. But this has done the like. I like how they even admitted their own insanity that like this has nothing to do with anything. So why would you compare them? It did better with its character designs. There were no new characters in the film. Like, okay, I'm gonna move on because there's nothing to say there. Movie trilogy, the sequel. The ending of the original anime meant that there was no way that Code Geass could ever come back with a sequel. And maybe all things considered, that was okay, but we love the universe and always want more of it. So the fact that the films left the ending open enough to get a sequel, Code Geass Lelouch Resurrection, is exciting for us. We want to be able to delve back into the world of Code Geass. The sequel film is also not an adaptation, so its pacing is more like the date of a traditional film, giving us the Code Geass content we want with storytelling we're expecting. Um, okay. I don't even know where to go with this. Like, there are a bunch of fallacious statements in here. It says that Code Geass can never come back for a sequel. Um, why? I just ranted about this in another video that I released last week, but why exactly? You're just stating things. Sure, okay, fine. And we're okay with that. You mean Code Geass without Lelouch couldn't have come back? Again, just all these points, like I feel like I'm repeating myself here, but all these points all come back to the same notion. It's all about Lelouch being alive or not being alive. That's it. That's the whole film's a nutshell. You also have a couple of changes. Well, not a couple. I mean, I made a whole video, it was an hour long, going through all the changes of the between the films and anime, and I still miss stuff. So it's not like it's small changes, but at the end of the day, the main changes were to get Lelouch and Shirley alive for the film. That's really it. So other than that, like, why were, I don't know. It's bizarre. And then they say because the film left an ending open enough to get a sequel. Here's the thing. Open enough to get a sequel. That is so... Okay, one second. I wasn't gonna do this, but I'm gonna do this. 1 second. I want to show you guys something really quick here. Let me go to the very end of the film. Okay. This is the last thing you see in the film. I'm not sure you guys can see it or not. Ugh, stupid image glass. You guys can see this. Let me zoom in here. You see this? This says next stage resurrection. Okay? The reason why I'm pointing this out is because they're saying here the it left ending open enough to get a sequel. It's not open enough. It literally was open for a sequel. Like, they're implying like there may or may not be a sequel. No, the film was directly made for a sequel. In fact, the entire trilogy was made to bring back Code Geass into the, I guess, mainstream and back into the light again, okay? They're acting like these films accidentally opened up a pathway for the films by saying open enough. No, that was the purpose. Like, Lelouch Resurrection is exciting for us. I'm like, why? Oh, man. Like, yes, obviously, the purpose is to get us to the next film. Like, I don't know. I'm like, this is like no duh on a level that I've never seen before. No duh. I guess. The other show could be continued too. It wouldn't be with Lelouch. They don't even state that here. Oh my god. Original anime, the music. Okay, finally, something we can latch on to. Finally, before I go through this, let me read some comments real quick. Pizza Hut sponsored Code Geass Productions. They had Code Geass themed boxes. They should have gotten the pizza chain Chi-Chi's Pizza as a sponsor. It could have fueled the speculation about Chi-Chi's real name. That's a good point. These points are more obvious than the fact Lelouch has purple eyes. I don't know about that. It could be close, though. Oh my god, you mean to tell me the original anime has an original ending? I'm so mind blown. I don't even know what to do myself. The confusing, that's confusing. They need to pick one or the other ending. Yeah, they're saying, like, the film's ending was great. The original ending was better. And then when they discuss the reasoning, you know what the hell they're talking about. It's, oh my god. What the F? Yeah, pretty much. I think Code Geass works better in an episodic approach because every episode almost ends with a cliffhanger. Yeah. I like the fact that the movies kept Shirley alive. Oh my god. I got in a debate with someone like a couple weeks ago about that, and well, it didn't go so well. But I agree. I'll say that much. Doctor Who back in the day was so good. I think I read that one already. Okay. Now, original anime music. All anime fans know how important good music is. See, they always do this crap. They write sentences that are not relevant to anything. The opening and closing themes set the mood for how we're supposed to feel while watching the series and are often used to heighten the drama and the climax of the show. Yes, everyone inherently knows this. They may not be able to describe it in the most contrived, run-on sentence in the history of mankind, but we do know that this is what music does, or how music works. Code Geass has some of the most memorable music of any 2000 anime, which was with a catchy theme that gets us pumped for the action. There's also emotional stuff too. That's like really like every time C2 and Lelouch are together, they played that really sappy music, which actually I liked more than the action stuff. While the movie does have music, it doesn't use it in the same way, and then songs are often just inserted into the scenes willy-nilly, making them feel like they aren't even thinking too hard how it might affect the mood. Okay, finally, this is accurate. I will definitely agree. The music in the films are not good. There's specifically one part, because they don't do specifics here at CBR, we don't believe in that, but there's one part in the films where it's the very end of Glorification. The Lelouch is confronting Nunnally and the Democles, and they play this weird song, and then it continues on while Colin and Suzaku fight. And I hated the song. I definitely agree with them. It took us out of the mood because I preferred what they had before, which was nothing, and they added the song, and I was like, okay, why'd you put that in there? It didn't, as I said, add anything to it. It was kind of weird. So I agree with them that the music was out of place in the film. Some tracks I thought were great, like the introductions to each of the films. Those were actually the intros of the original anime, so that was okay. But some of them were just the new stuff. It was not very good. So that's that. Well, let's see how we're doing so far. Oh, actually, we're doing pretty well. Usually it takes me like 2 hours to go through 2 articles. Okay. I need to get some water real quick, and then we'll continue on with the next article, which we'll see what that one's gonna be. But like, give me okay. All right. So we're kind of at a weird place here because at one end I could just go through an article. We could also I could play Duel Links and I could take FAQs. We got like a whole slew of things. I actually, before we do that, I want to show you guys something that I saw today that really pissed me off because like with CBR it takes like no time to do that. So they made this article about the first kills in Death Note that Light does, and you might remember that they did a sit name for Code Geass, which is right here. So we just I think it was 10 kills. Really? Alright, we'll just say kills. Is it kills, maybe? Wow, really? Lelouch didn't kill his parents. Well, he kind of did. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. And I can't get my microphone to be straight in my face. Anyways, where is it? Where is that? Here it is. That's right. It wasn't kills. It was Geass usage on. That's right. I got it wrong. Anyways, so in this article, they got it like they literally had to follow the storyline, and they would have gotten it right. So I was reading the Death Note one, and it was the same level of crap. It was pretty funny. Now the thing about Death Note is that how I put this. Because Light killed so many people in the series, I mean so many, that it's hard to pinpoint the first 10. So what they did here was they actually, somewhat cleverly, only picked people we know for sure died. Now granted, I haven't actually gone through the first 10, but I'm pretty sure this is inaccurate because there were other people that died too, except for the ones they mentioned here, besides the ones. So, like, these are pretty accurate, but I give you one example that, like, was definitely wrong. Where is it? So the end here, they said that Light killed the director Kenichi Takimura, but if you watch Death Note, he killed, like, everyone in Yatsuba, all those characters. They all died before the detective here. That's one example. Now, granted, it was what was it? It was like 7 people because no, 6 because there were 8 originally. One guy kind of flipped out, and one guy flipped out, so they killed him to silence him, and of course Higiri, what's his name? Higiri? You know what? Let's go to his name. They at least have it here. Where is it? Yes. Higuchi. There we go. He was the other Kira. So, but there were other ones as well that he didn't kill. I'm sorry, he did kill. So I'm just like, why is it they didn't mention that here? But, I mean, he did kill these people. I don't remember these for the first 10. I'm sure they weren't, though. I mean, by this point, he had like lists of names. It was pretty crazy. But yeah, I thought it was kind of funny because they I'm sure this is wrong. I haven't gone through the list, but I'm definitely sure this is not right. It just I can't remember if anyone died between Ray Pember and the hijacker of the bus. I'm sure somebody did. They don't mention. They should say in the beginning. We're not mentioning the random people he wrote in his Death Note, but he doesn't really. They don't establish the rules. But that's how it goes, I guess. Do you look at articles from different websites, or just CBR? Well, truth be told, I mean, there are other blogs out there that do talk about different topics, including my own, by the way. Cheap plug. But the point is, even though there are other ones, they don't create as controversial lists. And when I say controversial, I don't mean like their takes are that bad. It's more like just lazy stuff. Like usually people, it's like there are a bunch of anime blogs. Like here, I'll show you an example of one. You probably heard of this guy, Alexis. He's a pretty big guy in the sphere. I mean, he writes stuff all the time. There's a bunch of blogs like this. What the hell? Why did I get this ad for? Okay, that was weird. So, I mean, I don't really go through these ones because usually these guys actually know what they're talking about, or even if they don't know what they're talking about, they at least care. The reason why I go through CBR's articles is because they're made, more people see them, and more people get the wrong idea. That's the real reason why. Because if people only introduction to the series is through these articles, they're going to get the wrong idea about the show. And they're super infuriating because they speak with no authority. At least with blogs like this, the guy actually gives a darn. So that's mostly why I tend to stick with CBR. He changed his website, by the way. It didn't always look like this. It was like a different format. Looks like he changed it up. I actually liked his way better. It's less noisy. He simplified it. That's good. But yeah, that's the reason why. Code Geass Anime Fan. Shameless plug. I've written Code Geass articles too. Oh, do you have a blog or something? Because I have a blog, in case you didn't know. And it's the same name as my actual it's the same thing. So, do you have a blog or something? Do you write on, or do you use like Weebly or one of those free ones like WordPress.com or something? Oh, by the way, since I'm looking at my site currently, I'm working on the July version of this guide. I'm almost done with it. That's the reason too why I haven't gone like why videos are kind of delayed, because I'm trying to get this out as like fast as possible, but it takes a lot of time to put together. But anyways, I post articles on a website called FanPop. I've written things like 20 reasons why Code Geass is worth watching. FanPop? Is that like medium.com? Where anyone can post anything? It's like let's see. If you guys know, by the way, another site to go on to read crappy articles about people from people who don't know what they're talking about, I'd be happy to go on there and roast some stuff. But generally speaking, I just know like, oh, here's one. 12 reasons to watch Code Geass. Oh, it's a video. Okay. Wait, wasn't that hold on. Wasn't the bunny from Alchemist Brotherhood? Where was it? I just saw it and is anything like sexual on here? I hope not. I just thought a bunny. Oh well. That's depressing. Oh, Joel Osteen. Oh man, I haven't heard from that guy in a while. Okay. I've never heard of this website. Oh my god, this is like, oh, I'm not gonna play it, but have you guys ever seen this AMV before? This is like literally the greatest AMV ever made. It's called Requiem for the God Emperor. Basically, someone took the song Vita La Vida and they did the entire Zio Requiem from it. It was really good. This yeah, if you haven't seen it before, like I would totally recommend it. It's probably the best Code Geass AMV ever made. And unlike CBR's points that are not factually, you know, they don't actually, they do all the research supposedly and they claim it's fact, but this is actually fact. This is the best AMV. Obviously, I'm not gonna. Okay, it's muted. Yeah, that's it. This is the best AMV ever. Oh my god. So definitely definitely watch this. If you haven't, because it's just this video is so good. At some point I'm probably gonna start doing video responses to stuff of actual videos. Hey, look at that. The video's right there. But that's something down the road. Anyhow, so that's kind of that. Yeah, I've never heard of FanPop. I don't know. If it's got like articles or things to talk about, we can totally do that. So there's that. Now the other thing too, a Death Note, yes. I read this article and I was really disgusted because I just did a whole analysis about Death Note on some level, and some of these are so ridiculous. I'm not gonna like go in detail with it, but just to like kind of give you guys a sense of what this was. But it basically went through Mello's biggest failures, and here's the funny part. So some of these, I guess, are failures, right? He didn't become L's successor. I was like, okay, that's a fair point. He failed. He didn't become L's successor. Okay, cool. This one was interesting. He said that because Takimura died, so Mello had to kidnap Sayu. If you actually watch the show, he was really thrilled that Takimura died, because it showed that Light couldn't kill them, he didn't have their names or faces, and B, he could just get someone closer, like Yagami's daughter, and actually guaranteed they get the Death Note. Takimura was like a loose end that didn't go anywhere. They mentioned how like it would have taken them longer, but no, actually the Death Note came faster because of kidnapping Sayu. Also, they picked like a child version, but Sayu was actually an adult at this point. This was actually in the manga. I spent like hours trying to figure out where this was. He said like he thought Matsuda was L, and this was actually in the manga. One of the complaints about Death Note was that the last part rushed the story instead of because like it's like what 9 episodes or something. It's like really condensed, but the manga is much longer, and this was in the manga. And the funny part is this had like no effects on the story, as far as I can tell. He just said that the task force was worthless. That was it. Even when you read their explanation, it says nothing to Wise was a failure. And just so you know, failure means like you didn't succeed at something. Mistaking someone could be a mistake. It could be a setback, but like I wouldn't call that a failure, to speak. Yeah, this one also was debatable. Again, was he trying to protect them? It was a setback. I wouldn't call this a failure. There was one that, like, yeah, the couple of these were just ridiculous. Look what it says here. Soichiro obtained Shinigami eyes to learn his name. I'm thinking the whole time, how's that a failure on his part? He didn't even know what the eyes did, right? So I was like, wait, that's a failure? And I'm like, no, it's not a failure. He didn't know they existed. You can only protect yourself from what you know. You can't. It's like, what? This one hurt my head because they were saying he kept his job a secret, but when Shinichiro saw him, he couldn't protect it anymore. I'm like, well, or he let protect his name from being killed, Kira. But again, it's not a failure because he wasn't prepared. He didn't know it was a thing. You can't, the quote I think I've said this before, but Buccaneer told Bradley, you might have the old seeing eye, but even you can't see something. You can't see, so you can't stop a thing you don't see coming. Hold on, I totally got that wrong. 1 second. I'm gonna look up the quote. Buccaneer. I want to get that right. FMAB. Quotes. Did anyone have quotes of what he said? Not what King Buccaneer. No. He said. Oh damn it. He said even you can't like stop an attack if you don't see it coming or dodge an attack. I think that's what it was. So you can't say it was a failure because he didn't even know it was a thing. That's stupid. This one also was totally did not understand this part at all. Mello only gave information to Nier after the photo was given from Nier to Mello. It wasn't like Nier wouldn't give him the photo unless Mello gave him the information. It was the other way around. Even their explanation made no sense because he wanted better than Nier. However, Mello was eventually able to use Nier to help him. Due to his pride, Mello told information about the Death Note. So why was that a failure? And he only told him some stuff too. I don't know. That's stupid. This one kind of because he didn't want Matt to die, although I don't know if he was trying to protect him. He felt guilty, but was it a failure? Again, I don't know. They were all fighting Kiro. What do you think was going to happen? This one is funny because no, not funny. This is just dumb. He sacrificed himself to help Nier. And then it says the reason why Mello and Matt decided to kidnap Taka was that they learned about Nier's plan. Nier had decided that in order to catch Kira, he would have his and the other investigator names written to fake notebooks, and Kira believed was real. However, Nier didn't know that Kira also had a fake Death Note. Not relevant to any of this, but Mikami, who was writing people's names in the Death Note at the time, revealed where the real Death Note was when he thought he needed to kill Taka. Learn the location of the true Death Note. Nier and the SPK members or SPK were able to make another fake Death Note and stole the real one, while Light, who had a piece of the notebook, had Taka kill Mello as she did. If it weren't for Mello's actions, Kira would have won. Why is this a failure? Nothing about anything they wrote here was a failure. They're saying Mello helped Nier win, so he failed. You mean he failed to catch Kira on his own? What are you talking about? So stupid. These are failures, right? didn't fail at all. He helped him out. I don't know. He was able to avenge L. No, he was. They both did. Nier and L worked together no, sorry, not Nier now. Nier and Mello worked together to avenge L. It says here because I'm not going through their jibber jabber, but it says here Nier was able to prove the light was Kira. Not being able to do anything, Kira was going to be sent to prison until Ryo wrote his name in the Death Note, completing the deal they had made when they first met. Like L, he needed to die in order for Kira to get caught. The deaths were important without them. Nier would be able to avenge both his idol and his rival. But like he was able to avenge L. They worked. It was a team effort. What you're basically implying is that what Mello did was pointless, and it wasn't. So this is garbage. And the last one, which I think is a very good point. Nier became the next L instead of him. That's a very good point. That actually was a failure. However, they already said that here. He wasn't chosen L's successor. He wasn't chosen, and he never became the successor. The only way he would have gotten this position is if Nier had died, but Nier didn't die, and he wasn't gonna kill him anyhow. Even if he stopped Kira on his own, he still wouldn't have been the next successor. It was Nier the whole time. But the important part is this photo, which they're like neglecting, is that they worked together. Nier said they surpassed him together. And I'm not sure if Nier even became the next L. I thought he just became N. Did he actually become L? That's not how I recall the ending. But whatever. So I thought it was funny because they totally screwed it up. That's CBR for you. Yeah. It's good stuff as always. So there's that. Yeah, I'm trying to think what we should do for the last 30 minutes, because again, I was kind of surprised we got through the what was it? Top unresolved storylines, Code Geass. Where was it? I guess we could do this one next. Why not? I want to hold off on those last two because after that I gotta start doing video responses because there's not much else left to go over. If it was Bleach, we'd have like 100 things to talk about, but yeah, the same Bleach. Hold on, where was it? This one. The no thumbnail article. So there's that. Okay, we'll go through, I guess we'll go through maybe one more article and then we could do a Q&A. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But 10 anime characters are just like Lelouch v. Britannia. Although Code Geass has memorable scenes and a stellar soundtrack, many will praise the anime for its that's funny. Many will praise the anime for its intriguing main characters like Lelouch. Listed on IMDb, lowercase b, as one of the best sci-fi anime, arguably one of the most popular action anime according to Miami List is Code Geass. Although Code Geass has memorable scenes and stellar soundtrack, many will praise the anime for intriguing main characters like Lelouch v. Britannia. Okay? Lelouch manipulates methods, justifiable goals, and supernatural abilities with its trusty Geass eye power made him a beloved character among fans, old and new. Although Lelouch's story, you should put a space there, may be over, fans should know there are more characters like Geass, what a wielding prince. Alright, here we go. Light Yagami likes to hide his identity. Death Note may be the best murder mystery anime because it includes super suspenseful scenes and spooky soundtracks, but its main characters like Light Yagami are what brings the show to the next level. Light Yagami is a cunning, manipulative, and cruel individual to many who encounter him. Like Lelouch, he's also an evil mastermind. Evil? I don't know about that. who is intelligent enough to devise schemes that often work in his favor. Lelouch and Light also like to hide their identities from the public, with Lelouch wearing a mask and going by the alias Zero, and Light going by the name Kira. Lelouch, evil mastermind. Well, that's debatable. He's an anti-hero. Light wasn't actually a villain. If we're going to talk about the characters being similar, which is totally a fair comparison, I would discuss the age, because they're rough around this, they're rough around the same age. Although, as I discussed in my other video, they if they were around the same time, Lelouch would be way younger. But not relevant to this point. I think what they're trying to say is that with this little heading there, that Light Yagami loves to hide his identity, as does Lelouch. That's how they're similar, right? Okay, that's fine. It's true. It's not really an incorrect statement. I would have more compared the fact they have a supernatural ability they use to enhance to get to their goals, but this is true. That's a fair point. Eren Yeager is passionate and determined. I like how they went from like the two shows that are being compared to Code Geass like all the time now in Death Note and Attack on Titan, which is kind of funny. Attack on Titan has inspired many new anime and remains a favorite. Among fans. Although the first opening theme and its gory scenes may have sold it for many, its protagonists like Eren Yeager helped it gain momentum. Eren Yeager may be stubborn, careless, and rude at times, but like Lelouch, his determination, passion, and willpower define him. It's true, Lelouch and Eren are justice seekers and have sworn vengeance towards a party that has caused them suffering during their childhoods. Both characters will do whatever it takes to protect those they care about and have supernatural powers. So I guess it's their passion and determination. Again, here I would talk about, no spoiler alert, but like their end game strategies were quite similar. That's how I would say they were. I'd probably put here, Eren Yeager's spoiler alert plan, Zero Requiem, or something. I don't know. Something like that. I wouldn't. I mean, some people compare them. It's not to go in spoilers, but there's been like a lot of compare between the shows because of that stuff. Regardless, to say like, I guess that's fine. Again, CBR playing it safe. What else is new? This is interesting. Sasuke Uchiha seeks vengeance against those who have done him and his loved one wrong. His loved ones wrong. Naruto is arguably one of the best shonen anime ever, and became an iconic hit among fans for its relatable characters like Naruto, and the cool centric characters like Sasuke Uchiha. Sasuke is an intelligent, arrogant, and goals-centric character, and like Lelouch, he seeks vengeance for the wrongs done to his people. To the people he holds dear to him. Lelouch and Sasuke are strategic regarding people who they vow to take down, and they have special eye powers. Both characters also end up betraying and harming others they befriended. Well, to be fair with Lelouch, I mean, it wasn't a one-way street, because Sasuke, Jesus. Suzaku, hurt him too. I think they're referring to Euphemia. I guess that's similar, because Sasuke does kind of backstab the whole, well, whatever. It's a strange comparison, I guess, because they're both anti-heroes too. When it comes down to it, if you're going to talk about Sasuke and Naruto, not Naruto, jeez, Lelouch, Sasuke and Lelouch, they are quite similar in that regard. They mention like strategic stuff too. I guess that works. The eye power is probably the most notable thing in the anti-hero stuff. So, I guess I can see that. Kurapika Korta is also fueled by vengeance. Hunter x Hunter is an anime many should watch because of its intriguing action scenes, beautiful animation, engaging soundtracks, and memorable characters like Kurapika Korta. Try to say that 5 times fast. I'm trying to work on tongue twisters, like Peter Piper picked Peckle peppers. Jeez. Anywho, Kurapika is an intelligent, reserved boy that, like Lelouch, has a tragic backstory that fuels his vengeance against specific human characters. Lelouch and Kurapika also set aside their friendships with others at a point because their aggression and hatred towards the people who wronged them. Both characters also have eyes that are an integral part of their being with the stories of their respective franchises. I believe they also killed people too in their journeys. Like Kurapika, he killed, I forgot his name. It's been like a long time since I watched Hunter x Hunter, but he killed one of the Phantom Trope members with the chains. I just can't remember the guy's name. And Lelouch killed Clovis. Those are two like main characters they both killed in their quest. They both were willing to spill blood. That's one comparison they both have as well. But it's been a long time since I watched Hunter x Hunter, so I don't remember what the character's name was. I've never even seen this show. I'm not sure what this is. Megumi Shimizu tends to look down on people. A horror anime that will leave you terrified is Shiki. It's so Shiki, okay. Vampire light demons and spooky village setting. Although these aspects emphasize the anime's horror tone, the main character, like Megumi Shimizu, highlights its other features further. Megumi is self-centered and acts like Lelouch, tends to look down on people. Lelouch doesn't really look down on people? I sure you're not thinking of Light Yagami? Last I checked, Lelouch doesn't really look down on people. I thought the whole point was that he was trying to make the world better for other people, not himself. He wasn't selfish at all. In that regard. Now, I will say, to kind of counteract myself, which is always a good thing to do, that he was trying to... he was working to make a better world for Nunnally. So he was selfish in regard that it had to be for Nunnally. But as a byproduct, he was helping other people. Looking down on people, I don't remember Lelouch doing that. I mean, he did say that one in Colin about the Levens in like stage, was it 7 or 8? I think it was 7. But besides that, I can't remember him like acting superior to other people. In fact, usually he looked down on rich people. So I don't think that's accurate. I don't remember when Lelouch ever looked down on people. Except when he was, you know, the evil Emperor Lelouch, perhaps, because that was like the role he was playing. But if we're talking about Lelouch as, you know, who he is without the masks, yeah, he didn't really do that. But, you know, whatever. Lelouch and Megumi also had someone they wanted to devote themselves to. Lelouch cared about Nunnally, and Megumi cared about Natsuno. Again, I haven't watched the show, so I'll take the word for it. Although both characters have their polite and respectful sides, they have no problem hurting other people that they have no attachment to, regardless if they're evil or good. Okay, that's true. I mean, he killed people at Narita, and the entire Zero Requiem was a lot of bloodshed. So I'll agree. That's true. Okay, number 5. Ooh, look at this. Finally, a show I want to talk about for like forever. I know if I make a video about Monster, it'll get no views, even though it's like one of the greatest stories ever told, bar none. Anyways, number 5. Johan Liebert can manipulate those around him. Monster is an anime series that loves to keep its viewers in suspense and guessing what events will happen next. Not only that, but it also closely examines its main characters, like its main antagonist, Johan Liebert. Johan is a well-behaved, tender, and full of charisma, and will manipulate people in the same vein as Lelouch. Lelouch and Johan can hide their real intent from others with no difficulties and can calculate their opponent's next move as well. Lelouch and Johan also have a weird way of making people harm themselves without having to act themselves. Well, with Lelouch, I mean, he has Geass, right? So it's not really weird. It's standard in the story. With Johan, it's also not weird. Like, I'm not sure what you mean by weird. Well, first of all, some of the people when it comes to Johan, they come to him. He wasn't even that group with the 4 people who those right wingers, those Nazi extremists. Like I said on YouTube, I don't know. those those neo Nazis, they wanted Johan to be the next Hitler, so they really came to him. It's not really a weird way of making people harm themselves. He just knows how to dig into their psyche, because when he was at 5-1 Kinderheim, they trained him to be like an emotionalist leader. He knew how to stoke the flames. That's how he got everyone at Kinderheim to kill each other. That's just one of his greatest gifts, because Johan is kind of crazy like that. I wouldn't say it's weird. He's just very good at manipulating people. He understands, not to get into intelligence, but he's got very good interpersonal intelligence. I'd say Johan's probably one of the highest interpersonal intelligence people in all of anime, because he understands people's motivations. He understands their feelings. He easily resolve conflicts. He knows enough about someone else to get them to do things. Everyone in 5-1 Kinderheim has this condition, I guess. It's not a condition, but I call it that, where they can go up to somebody and they could just spill off their whole life and make them regret their whole existence. It kind of reminds me of it's a movie called I just lost it. It's so embarrassing. It's called one second. I should know this, but here we are. Good Will Hunting. Ugh, I hate my life. Okay, so Good Will Hunting. There's a where's my water? Okay. There's a scene in Good Will Hunting where Matt Damon's character, he basically looks at a painting and he rips Robin Williams' character's whole life because of the painting. And that's kind of what Johan does too, and a much greater extent, where he can just look at somebody and he through some information, obviously, and discussing with the person himself, he can figure out how to rip the person apart. He knows all the means to do so. That's part of his manipulation. He's just that smart. He can figure that out. You know, kind of like how Light Yagami can also latch onto people and just go ham on them. That's one of Johan's greatest strengths, is he just understands people on a really weird level, which is just one of his, I wouldn't say superpower, it's just one of his intelligences that he excels at. They're both math manipulators, though. That is 100% true. But Lelouch has to rely on Geass more often than not, and Johan can literally he can just go up to you and make you kill yourself. And the one guy who was like, I can erase the past, and Ten was like, no you can't, dude. He's like, you're right, I can't. Why would I have done that? Why would I think that? And then of course he killed himself, because everyone who works with Johan kills himself. It just comes with territory. Let's see, we got a couple of comments here. I used to think that Ichigo's name was Bleach. That's funny. I'm sure you're not alone on that one. Monster's ending was really mad, though. Oh, man. Really? Well, it's okay. I like the ending. It's very open to interpretation. I can see why people didn't like it. But given everything Johan was kind of leading up to, it made sense to me why he would go that route. I'm not going to discuss the ending right now because that's a video. I know there's like 2 famous videos on YouTube that talk about it. But, yeah, it's... No, look, dude, if you don't like it, I mean, it's fine. You know, you don't have to justify anything. I'm just saying, like, I personally enjoyed it because it was, to, like, summarize really quickly. So, Johan is constantly getting people to get into, like, mass, slaughter of people. He lives off it because he likes... I think one guy said, like, Johan, the people from 5-1 Kinderheim, they treat people like ants in a line, and they just, like, they kill them and stuff. They like messing with people. It's really, yeah, well, they're sociopaths/psychopaths, so that's what you expect. But anyways, when Johan was a kid, he got everyone in 5-1 Kinderheim to kill each other. And then when he was an adult, there was the event at the library, which is the picture you're seeing right there, where he got people to try to kill each other. And then Runheim was the same thing. He kept trying to replicate the same event to erase his past, you know. Like in that picture book, The Nameless Monster, which... I think I have it. 1 second. No, I know I have it. I'm like, what am I talking about? But the real question is, can I get it out in time? No, that's folded on. Ah, here it is. Yeah, the end of the picture book. So, yeah, I mean that's... Where was it? This is in Japanese, but you should know. I mean, if you don't know, I can just tell you what it says. Where is it? Hold on. Where is it? Hold on. Yeah, right here. At last he found a name, but there was no one to call him that. And what a shame, because Johan was such a good name. Um, yeah, this is really cool. I found this on a Reddit page that somebody actually you can buy this, which is so cool. Like you can actually buy all the picture books. Yeah, it doesn't just have, just so you guys know, it doesn't just have the Nameless Monster. It also has like the God of Peace. It has, this is from another monster, I believe, and it also has the God of Peace, Klaus Pope, and it has like the man, was it the big eyes and the big mouth? Yeah, it's got all the stories. It's really cool. I was really excited when I got it. I was like, oh my god, they actually have a, you can buy the picture books. It's not in English, but I don't care. It doesn't matter. I know what it translates to. Anyhow, enough of that weirdness. Yeah, and I know, like, long story made short, they're similar characters. Okay. Next character. Ayato Nayo. Is this Angel Beats? It's been a long time. Yeah, it is. Okay. No hesitation when enforcing justice. Despite being an anime that leaves fans crying into pillows or a handkerchief, well, I'll give them that, it's true. Angel Beats contains a memorable main and side characters like Ayato Nayo. Well, that's not true. I already forgot about him. I literally forgot who this character was, so you can't even say that, but okay. Um, Anyways, he kept momentum flowing. Ayato Nayo was a knucklehead, violent, and comedic character. I think he was voiced by the same person who voiced Sunohara. I think it's the same guy. But God complex. Like Lelouch, he had no hesitation when punishing those he felt were out of line. Lelouch and Ayato had hypnotic-like abilities, and they wielded weapons outside of their special powers. Both characters are murderers in their own right, aren't afraid of criticizing people, and deem unworthy to them. The thing about Ayato and Angel Beats is that no one really dies. I mean, okay, people die in Angel Beats, but as far as I know, they come back to life. So, is he really a murderer? I guess so, but not in the traditional sense. I mean, I'll ask. Here's a good question to ask. If you shoot C2 in the head repeatedly, are you a murderer? So I don't know if that's a fair question, because yeah, she technically dies and comes back to life, but she never really died for real. So are you really killing anybody? The rest of the stuff is pretty accurate. They both have hypnotic-like abilities. I believe he does. I don't remember Ayato's character at all. Except the fact that he joined them at the end, like everyone else, the Angel Beats. Oh no, I don't remember. Which is funny because they said he was a memorable character. So yeah, I don't know. I guess so. There's some similar there. Okay. Kamina had a strong rebellious spirit. You had to bring poor Gurren Lagann into this, didn't you? As action-packed and intense as the animation scenes can get in Gurren Lagann, characters like Kamina convince people to rewatch it more than once. Kamina is a charismatic hothead and an arrogant leader to many characters in the anime, and like Lelouch, he has a strong rebellious spirit. Of course, it's just who the heck do you think I am? Lelouch and Kamina also have young children who look up to them regarding Nunnally and Simon. Okay. They both vow to stand up to a higher evil power, and their confident personalities help resurrect the hopes and the people they stood by inside the battlefield. Well, sure, if Lelouch as a zero, yes, he definitely did. I agree, because the Black Knights had no hope, but he gave it to them. And he told Colin, what, first episode, he said, you want to win? Or no, not first, second episode, you want to win? So, I agree with that. Comet is very charismatic. Died too soon. Died way too soon. But did Nelly look up to Lelouch in that way? I don't know. Like Simon worshipped him. I would say if you're gonna pick a young child who worshipped Lelouch, it wouldn't have been Nunnally. It was more like Rollo, maybe, but Rollo wasn't that much younger, but Rollo really worshipped Lelouch. My goodness, that was unhealthy. But Nunnally looked up to, I don't know about that one. That's a bit of a stretch, but the rest of it I agree. They stood to a higher power. I guess, with Lelouch though, the whole rebellion thing, I never saw it in that way, but I can see the argument being made, but I thought everything was more in favor of helping Nunnally. The whole rebellion was just to help Nunnally. Sure, there was justice, but it wasn't like Kamen had a more not naive, but he had a more typical hero justice. To say that people, the underground people from the Beast Men. It was a much more black and white scenario. Where Lelouch, it wasn't as black and white as they made it out to be. I know Britannia was a racist empire for sure, but I don't know if he was fighting to stop that or to make a world better for Nunnally, which maybe by byproduct means you have to get rid of the rebellion or the Britannia Empire, but it wasn't as black and white as Gurren Lagann. But I still think it's a fair comparison. Almost a no duh at this point. Alright. I haven't seen My Hero Academia, so oh well. All Might is a natural leader. I'll take the word for it. I haven't seen it. My Hero Academia may contain beautiful animation and hype-inducing soundtracks, but fans will argue evil characters like All for One and superheroes like All Might motivate them to continue watching the anime. All Might is brave, respectful, and like Lelouch, is a leader to many characters in the universe. Is Lelouch brave and respectful? Yeah, I guess so. Lelouch and All Might also possess supernatural abilities that help them escape desperate situations. Both anime characters also hide their true identities from people around them, which are exposed later in the series. Lelouch and All Might have younger person to care about and wish to protect. Yeah, I guess that's accurate, assuming that's not a wrong take on All Might. Wow, nothing like Lelouch. Well, again, I don't know. I haven't seen My Hero Academia. I think what they're trying to say though is like they have an alternative thing, but like, okay, well, I'll take your word for it, Bilal, because I haven't seen the show. But what they're trying to say is that apparently All Might, he's a leader and he has a young person he takes care of, but he has like a side, doesn't show anyone. But isn't All Might's side, isn't it some kind of like he's like thin and weak, right? And Lelouch, it's different. It's not he hides true identity because it's a different situation of hiding, right? I don't think it's the same reason. Lelouch's exposure to it was like near the end of the show. I'm pretty sure All Might's wasn't, but again, I haven't watched My Hero Academia. It's a strange. I mean, I think they're talking about the leadership, but like I don't know if other than that are they that similar characters. Again, I haven't seen My Hero Academia. I just know that he has like a form where he's really thin, and he has like a really powerful move. Other than that, I don't know. He's more similar to Suzaku. That's probably makes sense because it is all. I'm not sure if All Might is idealistic. If he's idealistic, then yeah, he's more similar to Zaku, who's also idealistic. Lelouch is too to some extent, but not like the fighting for justice. I mean, Lelouch had that as like his moniker when he was Zero, but it wasn't really his true self. That was just a mask he was wearing. So yeah, I can see your point there. But again, I haven't seen My Hero Academia. It's like on the list to never get. It's on the list, but I'll never probably watch it. We'll see. Number one, Satsuki Kirayun plans their moves carefully. My battery might die out soon, so if it does, I will transfer over. So we'll see what happens. Killa Kill. How do I say Killa? I'm like Talia from Mass Effect. Killa Salai. No, Killa Kill had many antagonists that stood in the way of its protagonist, Ryuko Matoi. But the person Ryuko set her heights on the most was Hanojo Academy President Satsuki Kiryuin. She's calm, intelligent character. Wait, is this a guy? I don't even know. It's probably not a guy. Is this a guy? I really can't tell. It's probably a guy. I don't want to start saying stuff. It's a woman. Oh, okay. I couldn't tell. God. Okay, edit that part out. No, okay. Anyways, yeah, I just looked it up. They don't say, by the way, which would have been helpful. Not everyone watched every single anime ever made. I mean, I don't watch most modern stuff. I just don't have time. I'm still going through the old stuff. I mean, I just started Gundam Wing, so there you go. Anyhow, Satsuki Kiryuin is a calm, intelligent individual who, like Lelouch, plans. Oh, they did say her. I'm a moron. Okay, likes to plan her moves. Lelouch and Satsuki don't mind putting their place or dropping or downplaying someone they feel is unworthy of their presence. Again, when does Lelouch do that? Except like Rollo, but that made sense. Both characters are willing to do whatever it takes to secure a win and aren't happy with failures. No, that's not accurate. Okay, now we finally get some points here. Here's some fun stuff. Lelouch is not willing to do whatever it takes, okay? For example, he wouldn't kill Nunnally. Alright? That's 100% inaccurate. He wouldn't kill his friends either if it came down to it. All of his plans were contingent on the fact that he wouldn't harm people he cared about. So no, Lelouch would not do whatever it took. He is not Light Yagami. Light would kill anyone to get his way, even his parents. Or well, yeah, his parents' sister. I know he claims he wouldn't, but like he would have done it. Okay, if he really had to, push come to shove, he thought about it. With Sasuke, I don't know this person. With Lelouch, no, he has limits. Okay, he won't harm his family. He won't harm his friends. He won't do something that could potentially harm his friends. For example, he made sure everyone was in Ashford Academy, so they wouldn't be harmed during the rebellion, the Black Rebellion. So the fact that like no, that's not accurate. I haven't seen Kill La Kill. I did again, Kill La Kill. But no, that's if that's how Satsuki is, then that's totally wrong. They have strong leadership skills and a voice that commands millions. Okay, I mean, I guess so. I've never seen the show. Satsuki was like Cornelia in a sense that she was an antagonist to the protagonist, but deep down that had noble intentions. Well, it says here Satsuki would kill anyone to get her way. Is that noble? Maybe. But Cornelia, yeah, Cornelia definitely. But even Cornelia had limits too, right? I mean, Cornelia wouldn't kill Yuffie. Like she wouldn't go into the hostage situation to rescue Yuffie because she was afraid she might hurt her. So that's not even true. Like they're saying that Satsuki is like almost cold. And Cornelia is cold, but not to uh, Guilford or Dalton or Yuffie. So that's not really true. If you're ever gonna go with that explanation, assuming this is correct, because again, I haven't seen Kill La Kill, and probably never will. Let's be honest. I just don't have time. The Promised Neverland is very similar to Lelouch. I haven't seen Promised Neverland. I know you guys like really like I haven't seen it. I'm not sure who Ray even is. Um. So just like Cornelia then. Why they say that she? Wow. Okay. Thanks for clarifying that. I haven't seen the Promised Neverland. For the other anime I've seen that has characters similar to Lelouch. But someone said before like he's a one of a kind. I'm like yeah, he is. So, there is that. I'm trying to think of characters who are like Lelouch. They didn't mention here. Man, it's crazy. I gotta go through my whole list in my head of like characters who, um, the other thing you gotta consider also with Lelouch, that he has like four different like masks he wears at any given time. So when you're talking about characters that are like Lelouch, you could find an aspect of him in another character. But someone who shares all the different types of personas of as Lelouch, good luck with that. The Promised Neverland's S tier, but I heard season 2 was bad though. So is it worth getting into because the second season was crap? So that's the question. That's the question. Um, but sure, yeah, I mean, if you say so. Uh, I'm more interested in watching the latest Higurashi season when that's good to go, or it is good to go when it's like all finished. Is probably a better thing. 1 second, I gotta change the battery. I thought I'm gonna lose it in just a moment here. I don't want to cut off in the middle, so give me 2 seconds here. Okay, we are back. All right, let's see. Lelouch pretending to be spoiled and immature to mask his true persona is similar to what Batman does as Bruce Wayne. That doesn't mean, though, they're necessarily similar characters. That's another good point, too. They also made an article, by the way, where they actually compared Batman to Code Lelouch. And it was so stupid because, like, wow, that was really, interesting. It was a stupid article. Um, yeah, you can finish with season 1. Kill la Kill, Kill la Kill was actually a pretty good show. I'm sure it was, although I'm not. One thing about the story that kind of keeps me away is ironic because I'm a Code Geass fan, but when I go to it, it's a very fan service heavy show. I don't know if that's a serious problem or not. I'm not sure if it's like Fairy Tale where it's like not that great, so I don't know if that's a problem or not. But I just noticed like this show has so much fan service. I'm not sure if it's still worth going into or not. It's just one of the things my um immediate observation. Fan service doesn't bother me as long as it makes sense and it's not overdone. But that's like my only real complaint looking at it so far. The animation style reminds me of Gurren Lagann, which makes sense because isn't Studio Trigger composed of like the same people? I'll check real quick. Let's Google it. Let's see. Studio. Yeah, first of all, you gotta spell Studio Trigger. All right. No, not World Trigger. Ah, I see that. Whatever. Okay, I'll just go Kill la Kill. Is it an ecchi? It's an ecchi. Okay, so it's an ecchi. And I generally don't watch ecchi anime. I try to avoid them. But I mean, I heard the show was pretty good. Studio Trigger. So let's see. I thought the people who were, okay, thank you. I thought the people who worked on this stuff, they were part of Gainax, right? Didn't Gainax make Gurren Lagann? I don't know why I'm like, we'll just go Gurren Lagann. Let's remember Gainax. Giant X is the proper term. So yeah, the giant Gainax people, I think they went off to form Studio Trigger, or some people did, because the animations are very similar. But so that's my only thing about Kill la Kill. I did it again. Freaking hopeless. Okay, anime fan. Batman is a millionaire who can influence the government of Gotham, but chooses to fight crime than just as the real problems of Gotham, while Lelouch opposes authority. Yeah, that's a fair point, because Lelouch, they're both vigilantes, but Lelouch is actually taking a more aggressive approach. Like Batman is working above the law, but he's not willing to like actually take out politicians and stuff. He's willing to keep the order of structures the way it is. Whereas Lelouch is like, no, we need to start all over. The Zaku is probably more in line with Batman's philosophy in that regard. Change from within, not change the whole system. That's a good observation. Anyways, the fan service in a Kill la Kill has story-related reasons. It isn't just there for the heck of it. That's true. I mean, I can't say that's true, but I believe that makes sense. From what I understand. Yeah, the God clothes. That's right. So, I mean, it makes sense. Then again, it's not really a problem. It's just annoying when it's super distracting. Like, that's why I can't watch Fairy Tale, because it's just too distracting. And it's a shame, too, because Fairy Tale is actually not the worst story I've ever, like, gone through. It's just, my God, the fan service was just so distracting, you know. How many Lucy jokes can I take before I just can't do this anymore? Or everyone. I mean, every woman in the show, part of the guild. It's just, I tried. I really tried. I couldn't do it. I think they ended the show recently too, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, wait. There's a 24th season, and there's also a, huh. Oh, okay, never mind. Excuse me. I'm now late. My goodness. Okay. All right. Batman. Kill la Kill handles fan service in a way that services the characters' personalities and choices. It isn't just for showing off attractive characters, right? Or in case of like prison school, it's just for comedic effect. Batman would probably be too respectful of people's free will to use the power of Geass on most. Yeah, probably not. The fan service of Fairy Tail is the most efficient I've ever seen. Yes, Fairy Tail's fan service is like absurdly bad. I mean, it's one thing when you have like Urza on occasion, or what the character's name? I'm like blanking. Let's see. Julie Blee, I think her name is Julie Blee, right? It's every so often, but you have characters like this where it's like they were literally just made like just for the fan service. And there's one other one that just, oh my god, Ares, Jesus, oh my goodness. There was a character. There's one episode of Fairy Tail where, not to go on a rant about this, but there was a character who had the keys to summon stuff, and the person summoned this creature. I think it was Ares. I don't remember, but it was one of these like women, female summoned creatures, and the woman basically hoarded her off to a bunch of guys. And I was like, "Are you serious? This is so stupid." I can't remember the name, but she basically did that, and her own like creatures disobeyed her, and one of them was I just passed him a while ago. He works for Lucy, so he doesn't like die or something. What the heck was his name? He was really suave, all the ladies. I can't find him, but I was like, "Are you serious?" I was like, "Okay." I tried. Okay, if you take out the fan service, the story isn't half bad, but my God, it's so shameless. There's even a special where they have like candle lighting. They have like a this pseudo BDSM between Lucy and Urza, and it was so just disrespectful because Urza is actually a really great character, and they just completely like they do worse to her than they did to Cornelia in R2, and that's saying something because Cornelia in R2 was, ugh, God, they fan serviced her too. What the heck was that guy's name? I can't remember. He was one of the summon keys that Lucy has. See, I remember the story too. That's how you know I actually like the show on some level, because I remember the story and the characters. I just can't remember what the heck the name was. It doesn't even matter. But yeah, I mean, like, there are so many characters in the guild that they wear no clothing, and they have this magazine too where they show them all off, and it's like, what is this crap? And she always makes fun of Lucy because she has a boyfriend, and yeah, I don't know. Like that scene, I don't know if it was Aries, but she said the girl ought to be whored like a bunch of guys. I was like, what am I watching? It was so stupid. I only watched the show originally for Urza's character, and I tried getting into it. And that's it, Loki. This dude, this guy was actually a guild member, but he was originally a key, and he eventually joins her. That was actually a good storyline. It's one of the best storylines in the show. Then again, I didn't get far into it. I was in episode like 16. I just quit. I quit after that. But he was actually a pretty interesting character. God, there's so many random people. But anyways, that was my Fairy Tail experience. I tried to watch it, and I couldn't. I can't. It's like I have a certain limit what I can take. But this was too much. It was just too much. The constant Lucy jokes. My God. All right. Oh, my boy Johan. Yeah, Johan. Yeah, you're a little late there, but yeah, Johan. I mentioned him like a little earlier, but yes. I'm surprised people even like Fairy Tail. You know what? Look, I'm not gonna go too into this, okay? This is already going to like the depravity, but people like this show. I won't even say the name of it, but people legitimately like this show. So, what can I tell you? You know, people enjoy this series. And that's fine, right? You can like whatever you like, but if this is popular, If you guys can see that, I'll take the. I'll just do this. Maybe this will help. I want to zoom in on this. If people think this show is good, right? Then, you know, what am I supposed to tell you, right? This is very popular. There's another show too, which I won't even post on here because I won't even like search for because the cover is disgusting. But some people like it. So if people like stuff like that, it's no surprise people like fairy tale. That's how I see it. I'm surprised even the fairy tale OVAs had more fan. Oh my god, the fan service in the OVAs of fairy tale was just the worst. It wasn't even just like more situations where the girls are like wearing no clothing. It got to like BDSM territories. One Piece, oh my god, heavy fan service. Yeah, right. It's with I haven't watched the show, but it's with what, Nami and Babcock. I don't know what was her name. Bora. No, that's not it. It's like Bocock. All right, I'm gonna look at One Piece. I'm like saying weird stuff. Let me just look it up. Deo Kugero. I never actually watched fairy tale One Piece. I've like literally like I'll never watch this show. Why did I say Bocock? I'm way off. Robin, Jesus, why did I say Bocock? Is there someone named that in the show or something, some kind of similar name to that? I must be out of my darn mind. Why did I think that? Oh yeah, fair. Look at this. Who the hell is this? Okay. The only one with fairy tale, not fairy tale, a One Piece, that all the characters are super thin and they make them all really busty. It's like it's like worse than Code Geass when it comes to like the body proportions. Um, is there no one named Cock in One Piece? 1 second. I was right. Boa Hancock. See, I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. Please don't. So there's a Robin Nico and there's a Hancock. Boa Hancock. I knew it. I watched enough Tanking 101, so I know something. Anyways, between like hold on, and Nami, Boa, and Rico or Robin are the most heavily sexualized characters in the show, bar none. But yeah, the whole series is pretty sexualized. And the fun part of Nami too, not to go on a weird tangent. Again, I've never seen One Piece, but I've seen images of Nami throughout the years. I bet I can even find it too. Let's see, Nami throughout the years. There's like a really great meme. I don't know if I can find it, but One Piece. Let's see. There's like an image. It shows like her whole body transformation. And what? Oh god, maybe I shouldn't click on this. Anyway, there's the. We're getting to weird territory. There was an image. I can't find it. And I'm not gonna search hard for it because we're gonna get to weird territory because now this is kind of perverted. But the point is, when they first drew the character, she was flat, and as the show progressed, they like increasingly made the bust larger. It was the stupidest thing, unnecessary. Anywho, let's read some comments. I like Lucy as a character, and her fan service is a negative for the character rather than a positive. Yeah, it is, because it's a joke. Every time she goes on missions, like, it's all that people talk about. At least with Code Geass, there's fan service, but no one talks about it. Like, no one ever goes to Cornelia and says, "Ooh, you look good," you know, in that weird way. Or when Colin's in her nightmare frame, no one, like, makes a comment about it. Only the audience does, like we do, but no one in the show acknowledges it. Fairy Tail acknowledges it. That's how bad it gets. They even had an action figure. Okay, I'm not making this up. Fairy Tail had an action figure for their guild, and it was of Lucy. And you hit a button, and her clothes came off. That was literally her action figure. Can't make this stuff up. That's one reason why I stopped watching it. I couldn't take it seriously anymore. Cornelia R2 was fan servicey? Really, dude? I will admit that in R2, Cornelia's outfit was very form-fitting, but as long as she had any shower scenes, I mean, yeah, but like, I kind of thought Cornelia wasn't very sexualized in R2. Okay. Alright, I guess, okay. Let me show you something, since I'm going to show you something, and you're not going to like it. I'm trying to think. Should I go through the video footage, or should I just go through... I guess we'll do that. That's fine. Here, I'll put this out here, actually. So you guys don't look. You don't have to look at me going through my folders like an idiot. I believe it was an R2. It's been a while. It's been a while since I got through these photos. It's been a while. Okay. All right. So here's let me show you section A. So now we're gonna have a little discussion about this. All right. I'm gonna zoom in like a freak. You see this? This is crack. No, this is Cornelia's butt crack. Okay. This outfit basically makes it obvious. Okay. Then you have this one. That's from R1. Let's see. Let's go back a little bit. Let's see. Like, do you see this? How can you take this seriously? This is the most silly thing I've ever, like, yes, there's no shower scene. You're right. But what am I supposed to think when I see this? I mean, compared to her outfit in R1, see, it showed off stuff, right? Like even this one here. But they went from this to this. This is laughably stupid. Like that's the thing I'm trying to state. You're right. Like there was no shower scene, obviously, but what is this? What is this? It's as I described in my video. It's like the outfit was painted for her or made for her. It's not comfortable. I'll tell you that much. It looks very uncomfortable. I agree about the joke in fair Loki. Yeah, he was good. He was like one of the good characters in the show. I thought his arc was fantastic. Um, not as much as Colin, Cecile. Oh, of course not. Well, Colin always will be the queen of fan service in Code Geass. But that's like a whole other thing. Yeah. I mean, Cecile obviously had the most. Oh, I'm sorry, no. Colin had the most fan service in Code Geass, but other characters had it too, obviously. Like Cecile, right? I'm trying to think. Do I have any images here? Yeah, I mean, like, look, here's more fan service in Code Geass. Here. Now we're getting to the weird, the depraved section of this live stream. But here's this one. Here's this one. You got this one here. That scene there. Whatever the hell is going on here. I mean, this girl's basically naked. All due respect. And there's this. This garbage. This scene. This pose has been brutalized, and I'm not even gonna say what I mean by that. This one pose, it's just, yeah. And this one too is just, I don't know. I couldn't take this seriously, but I get it. Johan's a terrible monster, but the entire fandom sims for him, and that's okay. Yeah, that's how it is. Johan sims. Look, if there's Light Yagami sims, there's Johan sims. It's just, I don't get it, but it is what it is. I think if Fair to Win Better, the fan service was only used if it was story related. Lucy and Urza are cool characters. They don't need to be sexualized. I agree, they don't. I guess I was too distracted by the plot to notice the changes in Cordelia's design. It's fine. I'll be fair. I only noticed going back through it. Like when I first watched Code Geass, half the stuff didn't. I never thought much about it, but when I went back through, I'm like, it's kind of distracting. But she are too. Why was Millie groping Shirley in that picture? Is she attracted to Shirley? No. This is the classic anime trope where women, for some reason, have to grope each other because they want to know what it feels like. I don't know. It's a weird trope in anime. It's pretty common. Have you guys watched what's it called? High School of the Dead? It happens in that show. I don't know why I can't think of our series. Oh, I think it happened in Bleach too. Now I think about it. But yeah, for some reason, women just like to grope each other. Is Millie attracted to Shirley? Maybe because Millie could be bi. I've speculated that she is, but that's never confirmed. I even mentioned that in one of the videos, like, oh, Millie must be bi because, like, why would she be that curious with Shirley? Or bi-curious, as the expression would go. And by the way, this image, the one you're talking about, this is one reason why I hate Millie's character, because this scene is just so. I mean, it's one thing to do the other touch that she did, where she did it while they were in costume, so there was no direct. I mean, what's the excuse behind this crap? So that's Kagiguri has a lot of that too. I've never heard of that. Kagiguri? Is that an ecchi? I'll look it up. I will Google it. Um, Even like Millie's face, I don't know. It's just weird. Okay, let's take a look. Kagiguri. Also Netflix only? Is it an ecchi? Let's see. It didn't say ecchi here. Oh yeah, it's totally ecchi. Never mind. I mean, even what's the show? Freezing and was another one that I Freezing and Sekirei. I mean, all these weird, depraved shows. So that's just you know, it is what it is. Not jumping on this topic. Oh, because we're talking about Fairy Tail. That's right. This Fairy Tail was hard to get through. But yeah. I think next week we'll probably I'll put a list up, but we got 2 articles left to go through. In terms of CBR, we have, so I'll just show you the last 2, and then we have, where is it? Hold on. There's like, where is it? I thought it was in this here. No. Yeah, this one we have left to do. 5 anime heroes Lelouch could outsmart, and 5 he couldn't. And there's also this Screen Rant article. Screen Rant, which is and the article is this one. No, that's not it. Where is it? This one. 5 times Geass was most effective, 5 times it wasn't. And if you guys have other article ideas or things to go over, obviously leave a suggestion because I will add to the list. Okay. A couple more comments. I guess we'll close it off for the day. Or night. Well, night by me, but it might be day by you. I think Millie was attracted to both Lelouch and Shirley, but she tried to pair them together because she wanted her loved ones to be happy. That's probably true. I'd also say that Millie never had true love either way. She was jealous of the fact that Shirley did. Because if you remember, Millie's one of her tragic elements to her character, which I tried to get behind, despite the other parts that I couldn't, is that she was being forced to marry people she wasn't really in love with for the family purposes. Because Ashford's a very high-valued family. Or, well, not high-value like it used to be, but they were once a high-valued family. So they want to restore the family name again, have her marry like an earl or something, like Lloyd. So her biggest, so that was one of her parts of her character. She couldn't marry the person she actually wanted to. So I kind of felt bad in that regard, but that's probably why she. I mean, there's probably some facts to back that up. I assume she was bi just because, again, sure, her way she interacts with other women in the story, especially Shirley and Nina, is like, yeah, you know. I don't think we'll hit any things for Lelouch. So there's a picture drama or audio drama. It's one of them where Lelouch first meets Millie, and what she did for him was great because Lelouch explained why he had to go to school, and she had to go to school, and what was it? She went to the school. Nunnally went to school, and Lelouch had to talk to Millie about it because they had to make sure that the school was accessible for her and stuff, and she was very accommodating. She was very close to Lelouch. At least that's what I got from that picture drama / audio drama. I forgot which one it was. I think it was an audio drama. But again, it's been a while. But it was never stated either way, so you can make an argument either way. Lloyd tried to marry Millie even though he didn't care about marriage. He just wanted her mechs. Yeah, that's right. Maybe can you talk about the nightmares and Akira Exiled? Well, I did discuss it in my overall thing about them. I thought it was pretty comprehensive. Was there a specific area that I wasn't? I mean, I discussed the They transform, right? The idea that they added a bunch of new features, like you can change ammo type, which was really cool with the Alexanders. I mentioned how they used the that rocket ship to teleport them. I can't remember the name of it. It's just so far. It's like a really obscure name. It's not actually, but yeah. So there was that. What up with the nightmare frames? Oh, they got upgrades. The Alexanders had a there was the original models, and each of the members of the W0 unit, specifically Akito, um, oh god, what the name is Ryu, and then man, I must be late, or I don't remember what's her name. The Give me a second. I can't think right now. This is really depressing. Akito the Exile. Give me a second. Oh, speaking of Akito the Exile, by the way, since you brought it up, this is more of a side note, but Funimation like has the license back. So if you want to watch the show, they finally have it. It was like gone for a couple months. They finally got it back. I know. Oh, I hate my life. I know. There we go. So they had their own custom made nightmare frames, Alexander's specifically, and there's also the one that the Groucious, I think they're called Gracious, the ones that like the other members of the House of, or the Order of Michael had. Specifically, not Shin Hyuga, but his girlfriend. Her name was... Man, I'm really tired. I can't think of her name. It's depressing. The redhead. Give me 2 seconds here. I'm looking it up. She's not even listed here. Are you serious? How stupid is that? I bet she is. I just didn't see her. What? Oh, it's hold on. It's something like a male's name. It's hold on. And then look at the comments. I won't actually. What is her name? Damn it. Jean Ro. So she had a Groucious, and her whole group had it. Jean Ro. I got it. I figured it out. My brain finally, like Lunge, I finally accessed my data and hard drive and got the information out. It was Jean Ro. Okay. Have you ever discussed Code Geass Wonderland OVA? I have not, and the reason why I haven't is because it was awful. I'm not sure what to talk about. It's fan service on steroids. It's one of the most awful things, and I hate to say that because if you liked it, you're probably don't like what I said there, but I couldn't stand it. It was just, I mean, if you want like a hilarious takedown, which I don't think is what you want, maybe, but Nunnally Wonderland was just awful. I mean, like, just look at this. I have like the whole I got all the images laid out for it. I mean hold on, let's get to it really quickly here. Like, every character in this story, like, you can talk about fan service, and again, teach their own, right? I'm not saying you can't like fan service or anything, but you go through this and it's just, hold on, let's see. Yeah, Psycho gets no fan service because, you know, it's Psycho. But everyone else, like, yeah, look at this. My God. There's Rakshata. And then you get the infamous, let's see, let's get into the house, right? I mean, just, geez, you know, it's like, they're really... And they get a fight here, and then there's, at least Colin's outfit is somewhat respectful, which is surprising. I say somewhat. And then let's see, what else? Yeah, this thing. The outfit Shirley wears is disrespectful. So there's that. And then what? Okay, they're dressed pretty nicely. Poor Shinkai. What the heck? Jeremiah. And there's this oh, Cecile. Okay, that's alright. That's pretty tame. There's one infamous scene people talk about when it comes to this OVA. Okay, maybe there's two. What the heck is that? Oh my God. Let's see. What on earth? That's okay. Wait, what? What? I haven't watched it in a while, so I forgot. This here, right here. So C2 plays a chest tower cat, right? But she has a butt plug. And thank God I don't have the image of it. I don't want to get this stream ruined. But she's diving over, and she literally has a butt plug for her tail. It's so... My God. But here's the best part, though, right? So you see Charles, right? Look at what Marion's wearing. Like, you have to, like, believe... You have to see it to believe it. It's like the most open outfit you'll ever see in your life. At least Yuffie's is also... They're all disrespectful. But Marion's is, like, it's the worst. Yuffie's outfit, at least, wasn't great in the first series, but it wasn't like that. Like, wow. If people had... I know I made a video about the royal family's depravity, and people thought I was being a little incorrect. Sure. Maybe from that context, but what is this? My goodness. So, yeah, this is what I was saying about, like, the OVA. I guess they are, I guess Schneider does like canon. Proof? But, yeah, it's just... And even the way it ends, too, is, like, so stupid. They get in a fight. It's like the most... Look at this. It's, like, cheaply done fight. So stupid. And then, of course, is that how it ends? And they're all, like... Wow. Alright, there we go. There's your analysis of, there's your, professional analysis of the OVA, Nunnally Wonderland. What I think of it? Well, let's see. Lots of fan service, a interesting take on Wizard of Oz, Jesus. Alice in Wonderland. Maybe one day I'll really go into it, but as you can tell, it's a joke. That'd be my best way to summarize what it is. But yeah, that's what's up with that. Yeah, I think we'll end it in a couple minutes here because if I can't remember Jinro's name or Genro's name, then I don't think I'm worthy to keep going on this. Anyhow, we got 2 articles to do, and then after that, I have a couple theories we can do. Or theories, geez, see how tired I am? Ideas. They're not theories. What am I doing? We can, when Jezari Code comes out, by the way, we're now in August, so that means it's supposed to come out this month. I don't know when. It's supposed to come out. And there's supposed to be an announcement for Zero Capture. So going forward, assuming the app comes out at some point, I will get it. I will put the translator on it if I need to. Maybe they subtitled it. Man, that'd be great. But I'm assuming they didn't. But I'm not ruling it out. So I'll get it going to the point where I can play it, and then we'll do an article, or I'll just play the game. We'll see what's up. Because again, I'm running out of things to talk about in terms of articles. We could do video responses. If you guys find something interesting, let me know. Maybe I'll post something on a community tab where, hey, you guys, if you find some like article or thing to talk about, we can do that as well. But as it stands, we got 2 more articles to go through, and we've gone through all the controversial Code Geass stuff. Half the stuff is just complete crap, and it's not worth your time. I think the last one I read was probably under that category, but I had to fill up some time, so there we are. Anyhow, that's all I got for this time. Thanks guys for tuning in, and next week we'll see what happens. But yep, I hope they come out soon this month. We'll see what happens. Not the anime, but the game. All right, guys. I'll see you guys next week. Have a good week, and yeah, take care, guys.